why it's really important to have a plan. Have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this Degen?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
When really, at the end of the day, it's just the matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom, so we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, welcome to this here episode 63 of the Degen Roundtable, where we're talking about Bitcoin getting really damn close to 4,000. We're talking about, or excuse me, not Bitcoin, Ethereum getting real close to 4,000. Man, if Bitcoin was 4K, we'd be in some trouble. Bitcoin's breaking 100,000. It's done it once, twice, three times. I don't fucking know how many times it's gone up and down. I remember I was sitting with a whole bunch of Bitcoin OGs down in El Salvador at a homeboy's house, and I was like, oh, I wonder what Bitcoin's at right now. I pull it up, and it had like the alert just came through on the crypto news. It was like, Bitcoin breaks 100,000, and I'm like, holy shit, guys, we just broke 100K. And like everyone just stopped their conversation. Everyone pulls their phones out, and it's just like a little festival of faces lit up the screens. But anyways, that's a story for another time. I'm joined today by three fantastic panelists. We've got our great value technical analyst, my co-host today, Mr. Agent J. For those of for the folks at home who don't know who Agent J is, he's the one who does our charting, our technical analysis work. He's a whiz at understanding everything having to do with macroeconomics and things of that nature, and he's just an outstanding guy. By the way, for those of you who don't know, my name is Will Stevenson. I'm an iron worker. I travel around the United States, and in my off time, I do some cryptocurrency podcasting with these assholes, and it's a great time, and we all love it. I like to go around and kiss, hand, shake babies, and meet people. So that's my thing, is I go and meet people. Jay's thing is technical analysis. Then we've also got Zenith and Brendan over here. Zenith is something of a legal he's our resident legal expert on the Degen Roundtable, a budding young lawyer in in heart and mind. He wants to greatly and desperately take over Gary Gensler's spot up in the SEC, and one day he's just going to be a fantastic lawyer person. So
now that's
I'm
something
kidding,
else.
of course.
I am interested. Please hit me up. Donald Trump, if you're watching this, head of the SEC. I absolutely volunteer myself.
Yes, you're gonna have to fight with, who is it? Paul Adkins, I think, that was nominated. But we'll get into more of that later. The point who Zenith is, I'm pulling at his heartstrings here a little bit. But Zenith is our resident legal expert. He converses a lot with nuclear herbs, pulse chains. Resident lawyer who spent like 20 years or 14 years or something doing legal analysis, and Zenith focuses a lot on what goes up at the government level. And then we've also got Brendan, who focuses on what's going on at the government level, but more so from the macroeconomics perspective. Brendan is something of a whiz when it comes to macro. He focuses a lot on, oh shit, I used to have it memorized so good. Brendan, you do all the stuff that goes on at the SEC, all the Keynesian and Austrian economics, all the stuff that's going on up at the Federal Reserve, and focusing on all that great stuff. Gentlemen, other than my terrible botched up introductions, how are you guys doing today? We're going to start with my Agent Jay, Mr. Co-host, man. What's new and oh no, he got rugged! I go and try and introduce him. All right, so for my new co-host, Brendan, or you know what? God damn it. Well, you know what? I will give it to Mrs. Producer. Shout out to Mrs. Producer, by the way, behind the scenes. For those of you guys that don't know, Mrs. Mageddit is our producer. She's the one doing all the camera swaps and making sure that your guys' chats get brought up on the screen, and she's there holding the show together like the fantastic glue that she is. Now that I've done monologuing and Jay's done getting rugged and Mrs. Producer is able to fix everything on time, Agent Jay, broski, what's new and exciting with you? How you been?
I've been fantastic. It's been a great weekend so far. Crypto is moving exactly the way that we think it's supposed to be moving, especially, we're at the tail end of Q4 of the halving year, heading into the post-halving year. Everything is looking pretty nice in terms of what's happening with the altcoin space. So I think I can speak for everybody when I say that I am extremely excited for what's to come within the next 8 to 12 months. As far as what's new and exciting with me, man, same shit, different day. I spent the morning at the gym. I was actually hanging out with Sam during his Sunday stream. A lot of wisdom and a lot of alpha from Sam as always. So it was awesome to have him back. Because I know he was with you over there in El Salvador doing some work. So happy to have you both back here in the States because we need you here.
Yeah.
And then other than that, it's a lot of the same thing, man. I'm just sitting back, relaxing, just enjoying the ride because all the work, well, most of the work has been put in. That doesn't mean we're stopping or we're going to stop working, but for the most part, just enjoying the ride, man.
I've got to give you some flowers here real quick because one thing that I noticed. So for the folks at home, I've been gone for a week. I've been down in El Salvador, down in Central America, but I've noticed that Agent J, bro, you've been doing like streams out the wazoo in our Telegram group. For the folks at home who are not already a member of our Telegram, you should scan that QR code right down there, and that will take you over to the Degen Roundtable Telegram community where Agent J does a metric fuck ton of like streams and giving the folks inside some in-depth technical analysis and charting and going over market sentiment. Like I swear, bro, like for like the 4 times out of the week that I had at signal above like 25 kilobytes per second as I was rolling through the 3G and 4G area, like I just kept seeing that the Degen Roundtable had like the little live chat going on inside the Telegram community, and I was like, damn, I wish I had enough like bandwidth to join this shit. It's like taking 3 minutes to load up the individual messages and shit. So there's no way I'd be able to like do a video stream. But you've been doing a lot of stuff in the community Telegram. So shout out to you, broski. That's some cool shit you've been accomplishing over the week.
Yeah, like I always say, man, our Telegram community always gets the alpha first because they provide us significant value. They always engage. They help each other out. And so us at the team, we try to provide as much value to them as possible. And so they get it first. They will always get it first and foremost before YouTube gets it. Like a lot of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today is basically just review for me, at least, because this is stuff that we covered extensively in the Telegram channel. For the guys that caught the Sol ADA trade, they made a pretty good profit on that. We went over the Solana Sui trade that's basically at its very beginning stages, right? Sui just broke out against Solana over the past few days, and so we made an analysis on that for those people who may want to make the rotation. And obviously all of the stuff regarding Ethereum, regarding Bitcoin, what's going on.
Phantom and Sonic. We had a huge conversation this week about Phantom and Sonic.
Yes, we went over a little bit of the Phantom and Sonic upgrade that's going to be happening here because it seems like mainnet is just around the corner. So
2 days.
A lot of alpha for the program, which is why we encourage you guys to scan the damn QR code and jump in there because then you'll be part of one of the greatest communities in crypto. We are no nonsense, only gains. So jump in, man. You've got nothing to lose.
That's excellent. Well, so yes, Agent J, you've been up to a whole lot of stuff this week. It's time for us to figure out what Zenith has been up to this week. Broski, what's new and exciting with you? And actually, I want to ask you something for the panelists to think about for next week. I'm going to start asking you guys what you accomplished this week. It's going to be like, ooh, what has been your productivity for the world? So if you guys have something you want to add
this week.
We can do it for this week. Okay. Well, after we finish with Zenith and Brendan, I'll toss it back over to you, Agent J, and I'll ask you what you've accomplished. But Zenith, what's new and exciting, and what have you got done, good sir?
Well, I'll just say we got the Holy Paladin up to level 25. We did at least 10 Dead Mines runs. Got some decent loot, some decent gear. We're looking big. We're looking juicy. I like it. We did have to put the World of Warcraft down, though, and go touch grass. And I had a beautiful day on Saturday to go play golf. It was a very rare 60-degree day in the December of New Mexico. So I was like, we got to go. We got to go play. And it was a great time, great day. But then, unfortunately, capped it off last night with the UFC 310, last pay-per-view event of the year. And it did not go as I was hoping for. My boy, Nate the Train, got derailed. It was frustrating. And then Alexander Volkov, I think he got robbed. I think he did. And then Bryce Mitchell did have a sick finish against Kron Gracie, who looks like the kid whose dad signed him up for the wrong sport, which is he is a jiu-jitsu guy, and I'm pretty sure he's now 1-3 in the UFC, and he just pulls guard, and everyone was booing like crazy. But then Bryce gives him this like power bomb elbow to the throat, just slam in the third, and just nasty elbow. That was good. I was disappointed by Shavkat Rakhmonov. I thought the man is the menace, is the boogeyman of the welterweight division. But unfortunately, he got his first decision last night, and he looks very beatable, unfortunately, against Ian Gary. And then to top it off, Kai Asakura. I had very high hopes for our Japanese champion to come over to the UFC and just snatch that belt from Alexandre Pantoja. But I'm not a huge Pantoja fan, but at the same time, he looked really good last night. So I got to give the man his flowers where they're due. I guess I just got a little too used to the Brandon Moreno and who's the other guy he always fighting? I can't remember. Whatever. But overall,
you like fighting a lot, Zenith.
The UFC is good stuff, dude.
This is good. So I remember you've told us before that you do a podcast with your buddy where you go through. It's like what? Like fantasy football, but for fighters. Is that similar to what it is?
Kind of. We didn't do it for this one because I unfortunately actually just had to help my friend move out, so we were busy. But yeah, we call it Fantasy Fight League. We get $1,000 of play money, and then we go on the DraftKings Sportsbook, and you got to bet at least $100 on every fight on the main card. But then after that, you can do any sort of kind of like weird, wild stuff you want. You can do a parlay, and overall, we don't do very well.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's your gambling skills? But that's just, okay. Well, so you have not accomplished much.
We usually get too overzealous. We usually get the fight correct, but then we try to be like very specific about the finish and to increase the odds. And then that's usually where we get jacked up, because it's like sometimes you'll get a freak thing where it's like you thought this guy who's a submission artist is going to get another submission, but then he just gets like a really good day on the feet and just knocks a guy out. And it's like, well, there goes my bet. Like he won, but I still lost.
So So the new and exciting things with you are you're happy that there was a ton of stuff going on in MMA. You did some good golfing, you touched some grass, and you've got some leveling up and some good stuff going on. I like it. Mr. Brendan. My goodness, I've got like a frog in my throat. Brendan, what's new and exciting with you, and what have you accomplished this week, good sir?
This was an interesting week for me. This weekend I had a slew of plans. So it was Art Basel this week. Art Basel in Miami is absolutely insane. Ton of crypto events, ton of art events, ton of networking, and I really enjoy my time at Art Basel. Unfortunately, on Thursday, my Achilles issues flared up, and I have been pretty much out of a commission Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Today to go out and watch football with the guys this afternoon for a bit, but I'm kind of like on a mobility cart, like a knee scooter thing. And so I wasn't able to attend any Art Basel events. I wasn't able to I had a bunch of crypto events that I was invited to, like private events, and I was super excited to rub elbows and network with the Uniforce guys, with some Solana people, some other NFT projects. There was a lot of stuff going on there. Communities that honestly I haven't had a lot of exposure to in real life. And so that was going to be sort of a new networking opportunity for me. And that was going to be pretty cool. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And you roll the punches, you do the best you can. So my fiance is on her bachelorette party this weekend up in Quebec City. So I've just been here by myself and not doing much of anything because I couldn't go out. But I'm also trying to heal up because my bachelor party is next weekend and taking a cruise. So on Thursday, we have a Whiskey of the World tasting, VIP tickets to that here in Miami. So it's a 4-hour whiskey tasting, which is going to be pretty phenomenal. That's Thursday to kick off the bachelor party. And then Friday we leave for the cruise, and that's Friday to Monday. So 3 nights to the Bahamas, just going to rile it up a little bit. It was honestly, you could go on this cruise for $375, including all you can drink. So it's like, it was a really cheap deal. So all you can eat, all you can drink. I ended up upgrading a little bit because I wanted a balcony. But I still spent $500 for all you can eat, all you can drink for 3 nights. Like,
dude, like
you can't beat that.
Like, I would do that in the real world. I wouldn't.
You don't need an excuse to do that. That's cheaper than me going out 2 nights in Miami and doing. In fact, it's cheaper than like 1 night of bottle service here in Miami when I took you guys out.
Yeah, bro. That's a good ass deal. Well, congratulations, broski, on your bachelor party. Hopefully,
42 days to the wedding.
Yeah, bro. Like it's It's coming up. Man, your wedding is like right next to my brother's wedding. Otherwise, I'd fucking be there. Oh my God. That's so cool. Congratulations, broski. I am super duper happy for you. So you got to go and do some healing, and you've got your crews all lined up and super stoked for that. I know that you were talking about whiskey tasting.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge or anything like that over in Tennessee?
I haven't. No, bourbon's not really my biggest thing.
That's all moonshine.
Nor is. Oh well, actually, I like moonshine.
Yeah.
I like moonshine more than bourbon and American whiskeys. It's kind of,
yeah, bro.
I know that's weird to say, but I really like moonshine.
Yeah, dude. So it's super tourist trap.
My interest is peaked.
Yeah, it's crazy tourist trap, but like it used to be free, but now you have to pay $5. So that way, because it's like some legal thing, but you pay $5, you get a little ticket, and they run you through like a what it's like a whiskey tour, or not a whiskey tour,
it's like
a moonshine tour, where you go to like a table where like everyone's around this big giant round table, and there's a bartender in the middle, and they've got like 8 different types of moonshine, and they pour you like a little tiny shot, like the shot glass is like this big, but like by the end of the time you're like fucking 3 to 5 drinks in just from all the moonshine that they pour you, and it's all fucking delicious. They have like peanut butter jelly moonshine, they have like pickle juice moonshine, they have like fucking like banana cream pie moonshine. It's nuts, man. Apple pie, like all of the moonshine flavors you could think of, they go through them. And there's like 3 or 4 of these different places in Gatlinburg where you just go and you do all these tasting. You just get absolutely blitzed, and it's a great time, man. It's super cool, super fun. I always end up, whenever I go, after like the 3rd one, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna buy all these moonshines, and so I'm just like going around the store like buying fucking bottles and bottles and bottles of this retarded ass moonshine that I'm never gonna drink in real life, but because I'm fucking blitzed, because I'm super hammered, I'm just like, oh, this is
business
great.
Strategy.
I'm gonna get all of it. Yeah, dude, it's for real. Like that's how they make all their money. But
so is that a specific company? Because I know there's a few around there, like Old Smoky. Yep. I don't know, honestly, I don't know all of the mainstream moonshine companies. Most of the moonshine that I've had, I won't say this out loud, but I'll say it out loud, have not been legal moonshine. It's been people like in the backyard in the middle of the backwoods, and they're great. But
that is both the best and the worst.
Well, because most of the ones that you buy from these mainstream companies, they're like normal liquor, right? They're like 80%, 80 proof. 80 proof. Maybe they go up to 100 proof, but some of those backwoods moonshines, man, you can get up to 120, 130, 150 proof. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. When you go on the tour, most of them are 20% to 40%. So like 40 to 80 proof.
Yeah.
But I think occasionally they'll bust out the 100 proof, or they'll bust out the ones that are just like nail polish remover or whatever.
I love it.
It's super cool.
But yeah, that's cool. It sounds super cool. There was actually my favorite restaurant in Miami closed. It was a barbecue joint. Problem is, it was so good, but it wasn't like Instagrammable enough, so people in Miami didn't want to go to it. Which is the problem with Miami. But the owner
stay away from the good barbecue. They don't deserve it.
Oh, so good. But anyway, the owner made it his own moonshine, and it was unfreaking real. And I missed that barbecue, and I missed the moonshine, and that's about what I got. So I'm super excited. Like I've been really looking forward to the show tonight. It's just been like an exciting week. 100K Bitcoin, 4,000 Ethereum, altcoins starting to take off, show some strength. Continued good news around the world as far as markets go, as far as our next administration goes. And man, we're starting to get to that phase, and I'll show a chart here a little bit later when we get into Bitcoin and ETH. But we're definitely at least in the optimism phase right now. It's like, this is real.
So we've got, I'm going to toss it back to Jay real quick and ask him what he's accomplished this week, because oh goodness, excuse me.
Bro, he accomplished like 37 streams in our Telegram.
Yeah. So I'm gonna toss it to Agent Jay. From your perspective, do you think that that's the highlight of your week as far as accomplishments goes? Is all the fantastic stuff that you've been doing in the Telegram?
Yeah, as far as like accomplishments for the Degen Roundtable community and the team, I would say that's definitely the highlight. Not only am I able to provide value to our community, but those things provide significant value to me, right? Because it allows me to test my ideas against other really smart, intelligent people in the community, right? And they give me feedback on it, which is, it's a give and take, right? It's never just a one-way street. So that definitely was part of the highlight of my week. On a personal note, right? On a business standpoint, I got a few commissions just like earlier today, I got a gal who she just sold her property right across the street. She's been basically seeing me work out of my garage, and she likes my work. So she's like, "Yo, I want to commission 2 pieces from the bedroom, a piece that's going to go in the bathroom." So that's like an easy anywhere between 1,500 to 2,000. And like she's providing me all of the material, right? So I'm only basically just doing the labor. Got like some beautiful antiques that she's got. I actually worked on the first piece today. I'll show you guys when I finish it. So I'm pretty excited about that one. But on a personal level, yeah, that was like 3 commissions from like one person is pretty damn cool. So more dry powder to add to the stack, just in case. I'm really saving for off the grid, guys. Like when the public sale goes live, I am aping the fuck into off the grid, bro.
Are you going to be buying the top? I know that happens a lot when the coins first launch.
No, sir. I will not be buying the top because I'll be keeping a very close eye on when it releases, what happens during the initial launch, what point of the cycle we are in, what point of the 60-day cycle we are in. So I will never buy the top on anything.
You're not Michael Saylor?
I have gotten too good at not buying tops.
Michael Saylor,
go ahead, sir.
Sorry, I did not mean to cut you off there.
No,
I was going to say, it's funny because what we teach is not buy tops. Michael Saylor's like, no, I'm going to buy the top every fucking time. Yep. It's wild to me.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Michael Saylor doesn't care because he's buying Bitcoin, and that's the only thing he's buying. If you guys caught these streams earlier this week, you know that on the macro. No. This was something that me and Z went over last week, right? And we went over the quarterly returns for Bitcoin, and it did not matter when you bought Bitcoin, at what time, even if you invested at the worst performing quarters in Bitcoin's history, which is Q3. It didn't matter if you invested in Q3 during a bull market or a Q3 in the bear market. If you bought Bitcoin, you are up into the right if you held, right? And so Michael Saylor doesn't care if he buys tops because he knows that Bitcoin is going up into the right indefinitely, right?
Yep.
But as far as like off the grid, look, not to toot my own horn, but like we've gotten, I've gotten very good at investing in assets at the very minimum, not at the top. So, and buying close to the lows. So, the hard work does pay off.
Excellent. I love it. Speaking of things paying off, we're going to reward the folks at home for interacting with us. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for chat motherfucking shoutouts, where we shout you out for shouting at us while we are streaming live. We love everybody, those of you that are watching us live and those of you guys that are catching on the replay, but we especially like the people that talk to us while we're live. So we're going to reward you by reading your chats out loud. So Mrs. Producer, if you'd be so kind as to pull up the first of our chat shoutouts, we've got none other than Funkmaster Hex rolling in a solid 2.5 hours before we went live, saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, good evening." Good evening to you too, sir. Mr. Funkmaster Hex, I will cheers my sparkling water at you and say, I hope to see you again. And speaking of hoping to see someone again, we've got Mr. Kenturian54X, long time no see, Degens. Good to see you, Mr. Kenturian. He is absolutely right. I think that our last actual like live stream was like fucking Sunday, like last Sunday, or did we do there was the Telegram streams, which those were abounding. Again, guys, join the Telegram. If you're not already a member, you can catch us a lot of the time in the Telegram, streaming in there using the Telegram streaming feature. But you're absolutely right, Mr. Kenturian54X. Long time no see. Coming up next in the chat shoutouts, or Brendan, it looks like you got something.
I was going to say, we weren't able to stream this Wednesday, but Will, you make a good point. Jay makes a good point. Like the amount of content that we pushed out to our community in the Telegram is way more valuable than what you're going to get on a Whiskey Wednesday anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Is it sad that we weren't able to stream this week? Yep. But it's not like we're not pushing out free content constantly if you're part of our Telegram. So I don't know if you're not in there. I don't know why.
Yep. Go ahead and hop on in that Telegram, ladies and germs, and then you can be a part of the non-YouTube streaming that goes on. But that's a story for another time. The story for this time is we've got another chat shout out to go through. Actually, we've got like fucking 9 of them, or shit, we got like 12 of them. We got Smooth Brain Boomstick saying, "What's good, gents? What's good with you two, Mr. Smooth Brain? Good to see you, amigo. Glad that you could make it with us. I'll tell you what's good. What's good is El Salvador. You guys should go down to El Salvador. We'll talk more about that later. But El Salvador is fucking awesome. I learned how to onboard people into cryptocurrency in like 2 minutes. So shit's fucking dope. So go down to El Salvador.
Will is shilling El Salvador. How much Bitcoin did they give you? You got to tell us.
They gave me
how much did the government give you?
They gave me nothing. In fact, don't trust the apps that the government. Don't use Chive. Chive is the one that the government gives people. So don't use Chive. Go get your own wallet. Go get like Coin OS or Cash App or whatever the fuck. But anyways, moving right along, we've got so many chat shoutouts to get through. Up next, we've got Moon-Pilled Rational Optics, Degens Assemble, and then I think it says I'm not sure what that is. That's probably an emoji or something. I have no idea what that emoji is. Moon-Pilled Rational Optics. I'm gonna pull up it's a United States flag. Okay, that's what it is. That's weird. On StreamYard, it just says but on YouTube, it shows a little flag. So good to see you, Mr. Moon-Pilled Rational Optics. You're absolutely right. The Degens are assembling. Next up in chat shoutouts, we've got none other than Cotton Trust saying, "Here for the Degen Roundtable Cabal secrets." Well, good sir, if you're here for a cabal, the unfortunate news is that we're just a bunch of assholes talking about our feelings on the internet, and we look at stuff and then we talk to you about the things that we look at. So the floor is open. We love to hear it. No secret stuff going on here. If y'all want to catch the streams that don't happen on YouTube, then just hop over into the Telegram. But everything is open. Everything is wide open arms. Come on in here. If you want to call us the Cabal, that's fucking awesome. I like it. I will actually gladly take that title. We are definitely a Cabal.
It's
next
funny.
up. Oh, go ahead, Brendan.
I don't know. It was funny. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. We are the super secret Cabal. Don't tell anyone else that we're here on YouTube. Next up in chat shoutouts, we've got none other than Tam Tam saying, "What's up, fam? What is up to you, Tam Tam? Good to see you. World Pulse Chain, cryptocurrency, Hex #1 cheerleader in the space."
I bet Tam is happy. Hex just hit 3 cents earlier today.
It did? Oh, fuck yeah. Good shit.
Almost 3.1.
One of the number one onboards for Hex and Pulse Chain 2.
Yeah, shout out to Tam with her so if you guys don't know, she's talked about this a few times. She's a dental hygienist, and she has the opportunity to meet lots of doctors and lots of professionals, and that's something that's just super huge, is being able to onboard people that are super cool, awesome professionals. Shout out to Crypto Sloth. Very likely, I don't know if he's doing similar things, but I know he's a dentist as well. And he's doing all sorts of good things in the world of teaching people about cryptocurrency and things. Shout out to everybody that's onboarding people, but especially to Crypto Sloth and to Tam Tam.
When we finally get that island for Hexaco, the dental practice is going to be Sloth, and then the dental hygienist is going to be Tam Tam.
Yep, that'll have to be the way that it goes. Once we get Hexaco up and running, we're gonna have
Nuclear Herbs as our lawyer.
Yep. I'll be building TV towers that will totally be unnecessary because we'll be using the internet, and who knows what the hell.
I'll be making gin. gin. You know, I know how to make gin.
I could be maybe not head of security, but I could teach people how to shoot. That's what I can do in Hexaco. Is I'll be the marksmanship instructor. It'll be great, and then Jay will make all our furniture, and it'll be awesome. And Zenith will make sure that that our projects are managed very well. All the Hexaco products.
I forget who I was talking to the other day, but I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a project manager, so effectively a professional liar."
You're a professional liar, and you also organize things that don't get done on time, because there's always hidden flaws and all sorts of things that are just going to pop up out of nowhere and just throw little monkey wrenches in your plans. But speaking of things, monkey wrenches getting thrown in plants, holy fuck, do I have a lot of chat shoutouts to go through. Next up, we got Hexagon Lost in Asia. Let's fucking go! You're absolutely right, Hexagon Lost in Asia. Good to see you, amigo. Welcome to the stream. After that, we've got Nate the Great saying, "What's up, gang? What's up to you too, sir?" Mr. Nate the Great. Shout out to this fantastic DJ.
Shout out to Nate the Great. This is one gentleman who's paying close attention to the stuff that we've been doing in the Telegram. And this dude, if he entered at the points we were talking about during the Soul Ada trade, this guy got a 100% premium on that trade. He bought back his Solana position, and then the money that he made on that trade, he aped it into a new position of Toby. So congratulations to Nate the Great. Kudos to you for paying attention in the chat, for following along with analysis, and then for actually doing your own analysis, because we were throwing ideas back and forth. So he's not just like copy trading people. He's actually doing the due diligence and studying and applying it to his own trading thesis. So congratulations to you, Nate the Great. Big shout out to you, my friend.
Yes, yes, indeed, Nate the Great. Nate's been one of the OGs in the Degen Roundtable. I'm quite certain since we began. Shout out to Nate the Great, an OG Degen Roundtable community member official. I fucking like it. I know somewhere in the chats, I don't have all of the chats pulled up. I only have the starred ones pulled up, but somewhere in there, he was telling the folks at home to make sure that they subscribe to the Degen Roundtable. As not as an official member, I will say, Nate Broski, you're an official member of the Degen Roundtable, man. You've been degenning since the fucking beginning. All of you guys that are in the Telegram, that are participating, that are talking to us and hanging out and doing the stuff, you guys are all members of the Degen Roundtable. We're just the guys that like show up on stream and do the stuff. So we're happy to welcome all of you into our big, bad, fancy family. And I'm stoked to see where this takes us. And speaking of looking at where things are taking us, we've got more chat shoutouts. Look at that. Next up, it looks like, I'm pretty sure, is Mr. West saying, "What's Degen fam? Best crypto group out there." I think he's saying, "What's up, Degen fam? Best crypto group out there." I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. Because if he doesn't know which Degen fam is the best crypto group, then he's found it, because here we are. Shout out to you, West. West, I think that my next, so I keep getting information. West, if you're listening right now, I'm pretty sure that my next job site is going to be nearby where you are, if I remember your location correctly. I won't say it live on stream so that you can remain undoxed and things, but hopefully this job finally comes through. I've had like 3 jobs in my in my iron working like league show up and then fall through and show up and fall through over the past like 3 months. So we'll see where it goes. But Mr. West, I'll be in contact with you. And also Mr. Sino, if you guys are listening right now, I'll swing by if this fucking job finally goes through. Next up, speaking of real life friends, we've got another really good real life friend of mine in the chats coming up next. Mr. Moonmutt, what's up to my Degen family? What's up to you too, sir? Good to see you. Mr. Moonmutt is a fantastic gentleman. If you guys ever become friends with him, and I highly suggest you do, you should go hang out with him, because he's a super cool cat, and I love fucking seeing him every time that I roll through his area. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we've got none other than M Rock Jockey, Mr. Ock Jockey, D-Gen Gentlemen, D-Gents, D-Gen Gents, the Gentiles and the Jews, all of that stuff. We are nothing but happy to be here today. And it looks like I got Zenith with that one right there. For those of you guys that haven't read the Old
The
Testament,
fucking D-Gentiles.
the Gentiles were the people that I'm pretty sure Gentiles are people that are not Jewish in the Old Testament. So, or maybe in the New Testament, in one of the testaments of the Bible. So my Catholic upbringing did me well in teaching me lots of Catholic history and things. So
Essentially non-Jewish. Gentiles
yes.
are people who are non-Jewish.
That's
and
what it was.
Gentiles are people that
Gentiles.
could be Jewish or non-Jewish, but they're degenerates.
Yep, bunch of degenerates. We're a bunch of filthy degenerates on this podcast. Doesn't mean we're bad people. It just means that we're all just full of nothing but bad ideas. So, and another bad idea that I have is not doing chat shoutouts. So we're going to skip that bad idea and hop right back into it. We got next Miss Jemmy saying Mrs. Jemmy, I'm not entirely sure. Happy Sunday, Degen Roundtable. Happy Sunday to you too, Jemmy. I hope everything is beautiful and sunny over there where you're at. I know that you are in the States somewhere, and I know you've told me a dozen times, but I got to really write it down one of these times. I know you're no longer in South America. You're back in the beautiful United States. So shout out to you, Jemmy. It's good to see you here on the Degen Roundtable again. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we've got none other than Mr. Fox Mulder with the alien face. Ooh, and he's got the Hex.com logo as his thing. This is good to see. Mr. Fox Mulder says, "Anonymous bean displayed right next to Brendan." Bruh. Bro, you're not very anonymous if we all know that your name is Brendan, isn't it?
You know, I'm completely doxxed. It is what it is. Now, a lot of people call me Bean. So weirdly enough, I got that nickname from my family. It was a derogatory nickname when I was a child. They used it to make fun of me. And then as I got older, it became a term of endearment. And my nieces and nephews call me Uncle Bean. And all my family calls me Bean. So maybe I'll change Brendan to Bean, because even in Degen Roundtable, most people call me. But yeah, I am who I am.
Yep. Brendan, the not so anonymous being the name tag, named nicknames often start in different directions than they end, and I'm glad to see that you enjoy your nickname, Mr. Brendan. Speaking of things we enjoy, I enjoy doing chat shoutouts. We got next up Mr. Kevin Knaus or Kevin Noss. This show is very good. Thank you, Kevin. We appreciate it, sir. We try and have a good time, and we try and make sure that you guys have a good time as well. Nothing but friendship and education and entertainment and all of the above, community building and positivity. Nothing but great stuff going on here. Glad to see you, Mr. Kevin Naus. Next up, we've got Danny Boy. Hello, fellow Hexicans and Crypto Mindset Course alumni. It's good to see you, Danny Boy. Welcome, welcome. Shout out to all the CMC guys out there. For those of you guys that don't know, Charlie and Miguel of Dollar Cost Crypto and Cultivate Crypto, they run a quarterly course. For those of you who want to learn more about cryptocurrency, it's basically a 25-ish webinar course where they teach you the basics of liquidity decentralized and centralized exchanges, how to go through and look at the fundamentals of cryptocurrency, and much, 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 much more that I don't have time to give the full pitch for. But they're awesome, and they do an awesome course, and you guys should totally go over there and learn from them or just be a part of their community. It's a super great place full of super great people. It's like drinking from a fire hose. There's so much fucking information in there. But they're great people, and I highly suggest that you guys go take their course if you have not done so already. Next up in the chat shoutouts. Go ahead, Jay.
Kevin, that's this gentleman is actually my father-in-law, so good to see you in the chat, Kevin.
Oh, excellent. It's good to see you, Mr. Kevin.
Yes,
Aloha,
sir.
amigo.
A special story about Kevin and how he got started and very interested in crypto. He is a very big Trump supporter, and guess who he heard about Bitcoin from? It wasn't from
Oh,
me.
no kidding.
And then he heard about Bitcoin, and then he asked the wife, like, hey, do you know anything about Bitcoin? And Kelsey was like, yeah, Jay is a very, very staunch crypto enthusiast. He invests everything into it. You should talk to him about it. And I was like, Kevin, come on to the show and see what we're about. So good to see you here, Kev.
Excellent. Welcome, welcome, Kevin. Good to have you as part of the Degen Roundtable community. And hopefully we will teach you. You know, one of the things that I love about the Degen Roundtable is we're getting new people every day. And so we're going to find ourselves repeating things about all sorts of cryptocurrency stuff. And that's perfectly okay because we want our show to be good for people who already know a lot about the crypto community. We want our show to be good for the people that are coming in and for the people that are super old OGs. So we have to have a little bit of everything for everybody in here. So it's good to see you, Kevin. And make sure if we're talking about things that you don't understand, make sure that you mention in the comments or in the chats, like, hey, what do you mean by that? Or can you clarify this, that, or the other thing? And I try and do my best as the show host as well to make sure that all of our stuff is palatable, at least in some manner, for all of our audience members. So good to see you here, Kevin. Welcome to the show, and we're glad to have you. Going back to chat shoutouts, so next up we've got Mr. Beyond All D-Gents or G-Gents. Glad to catch the stream today. I think that he meant D-Gents. Glad to catch the stream today. It's good to have you too, Mr. Beyond All. Welcome to the stream. I fucking love seeing your name and I love pronouncing it. It's like a fun little roller coaster for me. Next up in the chat shoutouts, we've got Mr. Paul Sachs, Roundtable Sleuthin'. Good to see you, boys. It's good to see you too, Paul Sachs, another real life friend of mine that I've met perusing about the States. Good to have you with us here tonight, Paul. And then finally, in the chat shoutouts, we've got none other than Mr. Crypto Crossfire, Moon Gang, CMC, Citadel. You're absolutely right. So shout out to everybody that does this stuff with Charlie and Miguel, two fantastic gentlemen in the cryptocurrency space that do a very good job teaching and onboarding new people into the crypto sphere. So that covers it for chat shoutouts. My goodness, now that we're 40 minutes into the show, Agent Jay, I want to toss it over to you, broski, because we've got some pretty cool stuff going on with Ethereum and going on with Bitcoin. We've got an unprecedented over this week. Bitcoin has finally hit 100,000, and then it dropped, and then it did some crazy shit. Went down all the way to I think it stopped at like 91,000, and then it fucking shot back up again, and it's been doing some crazy shit. And then Ethereum, we're finally just like on the cusp of 4K and staying there. So that's really cool to see as well. Would you mind, Agent Jay, going through some technical analysis for the folks at home? And could you also give a brief explanation of what technical analysis is for the folks who have never seen anything on charts before you launch into the crazy explanations and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Technical analysis is just basically a mathematical graphical representation of people's emotions, right? Because people make up the market. Uh, you are not a singular entity, right? You don't exist in a vacuum. The market is made up of hundreds of millions of people buying, selling, trading on a 24-hour basis, especially in crypto, since we exist in crypto. And even though we tell folks not to invest emotionally, you can never really separate the psychology, right, from the math. And people will still invest emotionally. And that is just a representation on the charts, right? So that's a very low resolution TLDR of what technical analysis is. So hopefully that makes sense for the folks who've never heard of it, who've never seen an analysis before. Speaking of, if because Will brought up the whole 100 back down to 92, and then earlier it was 99 back to 90. For those who are in the Telegram, we actually went over the Binance liquidation chart. I thought it was a very good case study of letting people see exactly how market makers play with people's emotions, right? And yes, a whole bunch of shorts and long positions got liquidated during the erraticness of that 10,000 move during both times, right? But it was more of a good case study, just seeing exactly how it hurts the bell curve investor, right? Because during those points in time, if you look at the headlines throughout the week, it's like the short-term investors who just got into the crypto markets this week lost like 50,000 Bitcoin, 40,000 Bitcoin, right? So it was just a really good case study of seeing exactly how the market makers flush people out during those heightened emotion points in time during the market, right? So that was really interesting to see, because I was showing people like, hey, here's this liquidation level at this price, and then once it hit, boom, you saw price either move up to the to the upside or downside. So it was a really good case study and good visual for people who didn't get eye cancer, because when I pull up the liquidation charts that it's not easy to look at, right? So I had to like really condense it. But let's go ahead and go over Bitcoin, the king. So let me know. You guys see the chart okay?
I do not see. Oh, there we go. I can see it.
Wonderful. Okay.
Beautiful.
So we are day number 35 of the 60-day cycle. Like I went over a little bit earlier this week during the emergency streams, you know that I personally have a bullish bias for the rest of this 60-day cycle. The reason being is we do technically have a right translated cycle here on day number 31. Now, is it possible that we just chop sideways and consolidate around the $90,000 to $100,000 range for the rest of the month of December? Absolutely. But as we were discussing in the chats, the likelihood that we have a neutral cycle, which is a high around or close to day 30, right? Whether it's before or just slightly after day 30, is very unlikely, right? It's possible, but not probable. So just in terms of how many neutral cycles we've had since the inception of Bitcoin, this scenario of a neutral cycle throughout the rest of December is very unlikely. So what are we taking a look at? Well, we are looking for Bitcoin to keep looking for new highs all the way up until day sometime around day 45, right, to day 55, which puts us at a timeline of about the 3rd to 4th week of December, with a cycle low coming in sometime during the 1st week of January. Now, if you can see here on our volume charts, right, you can see that as we're making higher highs in price, the volume is starting to come down. How next week will play out, yet to be determined. But if I were to make a guess, I would guess that as we make new highs, volume is going to come down. The RSI here, you can see that we do have bearish divergence starting to form. What is that? You have a higher high in terms of price, right? But you have lower highs in terms of your momentum indicators, right? So that's your bearish divergence starting to form, accompanied by decreasing volume as we look for those higher highs, right? So I fully expect for volume, right, to keep decreasing as we get new highs, and for this bearish divergence to get stronger until we get to the end of the 60-day cycle, where the RSI is probably going to reset, hopefully somewhere around 50 or below, which would set us up for another good run in the next 60-day cycle, sometime between timeline wise, it's going to be January to March to early April of next year, right? So what can we expect in terms of price? Well, let me go ahead and do our Elliott wave analysis, right? We are looking for this structure to finish. Let me turn off the 60-day cycles just so that we have a cleaner chart for the folks to look at, right? We do have an impulse maturing, and we are waiting for the wave 5 of this impulse to finish. Now, what can we expect in terms of price to the upside? If you guys would like a more granular analysis, we went over that several times during this week. So hop in a Telegram chat and go to our Telegram exclusive content folders. That's where you will find it. This is a little bit more of a review, right? So you can see that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 already in, and we're looking for a wave 5 to finish. You already know our timelines, sometime within the first week of January for that cycle low. What can we expect in terms of highs for Bitcoin? Well, a fib extension taken from the start of your wave 1 to the end of your wave 3 to the end of your wave 4 will give you common targets of about between the 0.382 to the 0.786. So that puts you at about $111,000 for Bitcoin at the low end to about $137,000 sometime at the very end of this 60-day cycle, probably around the 3rd or 4th week of December, right? Just to get a little bit more of confluence for you folks, right? We're going to do some ratio analysis as well. Your wave 1 was approximately 25% in magnitude. The wave 3 was 49.4% in magnitude. And so we make the assumption that your wave 3 is the most impulsive and your wave 5 falls somewhere in between the magnitudes of your wave 1 and your wave 3. Usually it is greater in magnitude compared to your wave 1, but less in magnitude compared to your wave 3. So we're expecting the wave 5 to get anywhere between a minimum of 25% to a maximum of 49.4%. Where does that put us in terms of price? Well, on the low end, we're seeing $113.4 thousand Bitcoin, and on the high end, it puts us at $135.5 thousand Bitcoin. Probably going to fall somewhere in the middle, right? So you can see that we do have some confluence both in terms of the fib extension levels, right? Those important fibs between the 382 and the 786, and also in terms of the ratio analysis for your wave 1 and your wave 3, right? So we do have some confluence around the 110 and the $135,000 area, right? What is making me much more confident about this particular move for Bitcoin? Well, if we go ahead and switch over to our Bitcoin dominance chart, right? You can see that although Bitcoin dominance has lost its bull market trend line here, right, which has basically it used as support, you can see that Bitcoin dominance is still fairly high and it's still trying to retest the upper bounds of that trend line. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that Bitcoin is going to dump all the way to zero. It just means that, yes, Bitcoin is still going to make some gains. It's just going to start getting outpaced by some of our altcoins like Ethereum and everything else below it, right? So don't sleep on Bitcoin. If you're a Bitcoin investor, if you're a Bitcoin maxi, even though, right, you're only invested in this singular asset, yes, Bitcoin dominance is coming down. It is going to start losing ground against some of the altcoins, but Bitcoin is still well in line to hit our targets of anywhere between low end 150,000, high end 180,000, maybe beyond if we get an extended cycle, right? But don't fret just because Bitcoin dominance is still going down. Bitcoin is still going to make significant gains for the remainder of this bull market, right? This is more this is more a chart that should make the people who are invested a bit higher on the risk curve, right? That means Ethereum and everything else below it. Because what do we say? When Bitcoin dominance starts falling precipitously off a cliff, right? You could see that it lost this long-term bull market trend line that it's basically used as support since this run started. It finally lost it. It's making lower highs and lower lows, which means what? Altcoins are happy, Ethereum is happy, and your portfolio is happy if you are more of a altcoin dominant portfolio, right? So we'll keep the Bitcoin analysis there, right? Z, if you wanted to throw anything else in here, let's hear it now. And then if you guys want to go over Ethereum and some of the other alts, then we can move on after Z gives his input as well.
Sure. The only input I'm going to give you on this one is when it comes to the 60-day cycles. This is a question that, again, we had in the Telegram earlier this week, talking about what is the generalized shape of cycles. And one of the things that I've done through my research is that when looking at the 60-day cycles, like a perfectly round, neutral, like perfectly parabolic 60-day cycle are very rare. And what I found is that things kind of trend in a direction, have a big spike at the end of the cycle, and then start to move in their next direction. So what we're seeing right now with a day 31 cycle high, personally, I think that the RSI is holding up very well. So I personally am expecting another cycle high somewhere around that day 45 mark. So what that does is means we're probably going to get a right translated cycle. So I'm looking for any cycle low pretty much after day 60, and more than likely between day 60, 69, and then absolutely on the tail end is out towards day 78. Although realistically, probably anything shorter than 75 is pretty normal. Anything past 75, you're really reaching on that stuff. And I just don't see other on-chain metrics or data to support that we're going to have something that long out there. But in general, what I'm kind of expecting for the shape anyways is that because I do believe we're in an upcycle, we're going to kind of see just like a general up and to the right trend with that dip at the end before we move into whatever the next cycle looks like. So that's what I'm looking for personally. I can see us grinding right around that 90 to 105K level for a while, and then maybe starting to grind up, form some sort of a channel, and then we're going to go back down, retest a localized bottom somewhere, and that's going to be the start of our new cycle. So yeah, I think December is going to hold as another positive green month, and we're going to see that low sometime in January.
And then just to keep an eye out, gang, for important dates next week, right? We have the CPI coming out on the 11th, right? Which is December 11th, this Wednesday. And then we also have, which we will be going over today on stream, right? We have a potential, another commissioner, one of the Democratic commissioners of the SEC. She is going to be voted, she's going to be either voted back in or out by the Senate Banking Committee. And so if that seat is lost, it means that the only people left within the SEC as it stands is crypto mom Hester Pierce and then Mark Ueda. Both are Republican leaning commissioners, right? Very pro crypto. And obviously we already have Paul, is it Paul Atkins, right? Paul Atkins is the last name, right? Tapped by, go ahead, Z.
He's tapped. He's not confirmed. So I just want to throw that disclaimer out there. We've been doing a bit of a deep dive in the Telegram. Found a few podcasts where Atkins has gone on. But as of right now, he's been tapped. He's not confirmed. And some suspicious sources, shall I say, or unconfirmed sources are actually reporting that he might not be willing to take the position. So it's still up in the air. But that is at least the notion we're working with.
Yes. So, I mean, but hey, regardless, if Caroline is voted out, that means we have 3 vacant seats within the SEC. And I think anybody that Mr. Donald Trump nominates to take those seats will, at the very minimum, be neutral to crypto to positive, right? Following that hearing, right? And then also following the CPI print, we also have the last FOMC meeting occurring the week after this week, right? So again, if we get a good CPI print and we get a dovish Jerome Powell, right, saying that, hey, the economy is doing good, we're going to keep moving forward with quantitative easing, that is only going to inject more confidence into the markets, which is going to give us more gasoline for this right translated cycle for the rest of the year. Miss Producer, can you please bring up my screen one more time? I just wanted to give folks an insight to the economic calendar here, right? So, few weeks. Let's see. What was this? This was. Let me see. Did they already take it down? I think they already. Let me see if they can bring it. Here we go. Previous week, right? So, where was this? Here we go. So, this past Friday, folks. Remember a few things that really injected a lot more confidence into the market, right? The non-farm payrolls came in hot, 227,000 up from the forecast of 200,000, right? Also significant because remember the previous non-farm payrolls came in at 36,000, which was a result most likely because of the Boeing strikes because of the hurricanes that occurred over the past few months. So this number coming in much hotter than expected, that injected some confidence into the health of the labor market. The unemployment came in flat as expected at 4.2%, which means what? That is well within the range that Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve consider that it is a healthy unemployment rate and a healthy job market. And then finally, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Poll that is taken every single month. Guess what? From a low of 50 during 2024, it is now back up to 74. So that also came in a little bit hot, which means what? This is surveying people, the average Joe and Jane. How do you feel about the future and the current state of the economy? And they came in pretty positive, right? And this hasn't even taken into consideration all of the Trump mania, right? The December report, which will come out in January, is probably going to reflect that a little bit more. I expect it to hit close to, if not 80 and above, right? So all of these three things that came out earlier last week, right? Friday earlier, injected significant confidence into the market, which is why you saw that Friday rally and everybody was happy. So let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen there. So again, we're just trying to build a case here, right? Why do we have a bullish bias, right? Not just because we're seeing it on the charts, but we're seeing it on a national scale and obviously all the stuff going worldwide as well, right? So.
All right, excellent. So there's lots of stuff going on. Ooh, and so there this actually tees me up for bringing up the next topic of conversation. We talked about Bitcoin, we've talked about Ethereum. There was also some interesting stuff going on with Cardano this week. Brendan, I'm gonna throw it over to you. Let's see. So for the folks at home who don't know, this is it was the Cardano Constitution. Brendan, can you tell us about the Cardano Constitution that's being signed? Also, you're still muted.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I can. Cardano has been one of those coins that's been fairly hated for the last few years because it hasn't done much, right? Jokes that it's been a stable coin, but they have been building, and they have been building in a way that's different from a lot of other L1s. And I don't just mean slowly. I also mean in what they're trying to, build as a chain. And one of those things is become an actually truly decentralized sort of democratic chain where it's not, a foundation or a singular entity that is making the decisions about what happens on chain, but it's the group of holders within the ecosystem that have a say on what decisions are made. And so they're the first blockchain. In fact, I guess I should pull this up here, huh? They're the first blockchain to actually draft a constitution, first draft, and then the delegates around the world voted on it and passed this. And so they are the first blockchain to actually have a constitution approved and essentially decentralized, right? So this wasn't a decision of one singular entity. This was voted on by the entire community. Yeah. Anybody that holds Cardano can become a delegate. I don't know what the details are around there. I will share my screen here really quickly, but I think this is an interesting conversation because it's the first one that has happened. And I think that it is an interesting conversation for us to have. Let me see if I can.
Let's dude, this is fucking cool. I like that. I like Charles and what he stands for, and I like what the Cardano people stand for. And it reminds me a lot of what's going on in the Pulse Chain community. Just everyone except for America seems to have American values on the blockchain. And when I say everyone, I mean these two chains, fucking Pulse Chain and Cardano. But they got a lot of like, old America type stuff going on. So you said you got a screen share we're working on.
Yeah, can you see that? Let me know when you can see it.
I cannot see it. Oh, there we go. Oh, you're a tabs monster just like me. I like it.
Bro, this is just one of my open browsers right now.
Oh, dude, it's I don't know how my CPU hasn't blown up on me. But yeah, so take us through this. What's the TLDR?
So, well, the TLDR is very long. So if you just scroll this, but I'll go super quick. So Cardano is a decentralized ecosystem of blockchain technology, smart contracts, and community governance, committed to improving economic, political, and social systems for everyone, everywhere. By offering this foundational infrastructure, Cardano empowers individuals and communities to manage their identity, value, and governance, fostering the emergence of decentralized applications, businesses, and networks. So essentially, Charles Hoskins isn't the decision maker anymore. He was making the decision, and if you listen to him this past week, he talked about this as this was being signed, and he's like, I feel like I've failed the community a bit, many times, in fact, that we didn't build fast enough. I didn't have the right people in place. And he's like, if we're going to succeed as a blockchain, we want everybody to have a say in what we need to do so that we can get things moving. And it's not on me making mistakes as a singular entity. So look, I haven't read through this whole thing. It's like tons of pages, but I read through some of the articles, and it's cool. It's like, blockchain is for everybody. Cardano, isn't going to stifle speech. It's not going to increase gas costs in any way that it can help. So there's just like a lot of things here that are trying to make sure that what it was founded on and the tenets of what most cryptos, I think, is what we want, decentralization, is actually written and proved into the blockchain. Now, changes could happen, but it would take a lot of delegates to get any changes to this constitution. So you can go through, it goes through the Cardano blockchain community, participatory and decentralized governance, Cardano blockchain ecosystem budget, delegated representatives. Those are the people that are actually voting on these decisions and voted on this constitution. Goes through the stake pool operators, constitutional committee, and all of these things, how to amend it. This one is really cool. Blockchain guardrails, to make sure that nothing, hopefully, is going to harm the working of this blockchain. It's not going to make it too expensive, and that no one entity is going to control too much. So there's like a lot of guardrails in place here to hopefully build parameters that are helpfful for the long-term health of the ecosystem. So what do you guys think? I mean, this is interesting to me because there hasn't been another chain, and with the midnight upgrade for Cardano, they've been able to hold a lot more transactions. It's allowed to give this governance to more than one entity, and so it's been a huge shift in sentiment, along with Charles, talking about helping with potential regulations within the United States government, and then also maybe being, able to link to Bitcoin to be a DApp provider for the Bitcoin network. There's a lot of things being built right now in the Cardano ecosystem, and one of the things that has always interested me is the desire for true decentralization. Is it true decentralization as much as Pulse Chain? No, not my opinion. But they're one of the few L1s that are actually trying to be decentralized, right? It's not XRP and Ripple dumping on you. It's not the Ethereum Foundation and Vitalik dumping coins constantly. That doesn't mean there aren't unlocks. That doesn't mean they're not selling coins, to pay for the things that they're building. But it's in a very different way, I think, than a lot of these other foundations and L1s. So what do you guys think about this? Is this something that other blockchains should do to become more decentralized? Is this just sort of doesn't matter? What do you think?
I think this shit's fucking awesome. I don't know if it matters or not. That's to be determined by what kind of value do people put into this process. I fucking love that everyone came together and voted on this and made this a thing though. That's pretty fucking cool. Time will tell if it gets adopted.
No, I mean, it's adopted. It's signed. They signed this constitution this week.
Yeah. What I mean is so they can pass this constitution, but if what does that mean moving forward? What things change as a result of this constitution happening? It's if McDonald's changes their procedures for like how they cook hamburgers or something. Like it could end up with the world being poisoned, or it could end up with like everyone being like super happy, or it could just be that like for whatever reason people don't go to McDonald's anymore and nothing happens as a result of it. So like I'm super like I love that they're doing this. I think that this is an awesome process, and I think that it's really cool that they've gone through the trouble of basically drafting up a series of like descriptions of like, hey, this is what we are and this is what we do. We've like established an identity, and now we have like this is our ethos. This is Cardano. Like I think that's pretty fucking cool. And like, we all have ideas of what Bitcoin is. We all have ideas of what Ethereum is, what Chainlink is, what Pulse Chain is, what like, Dogecoin and Pepe is. But like I think that a constitution's a little bit different than a white paper, because the white papers are the guys who made it, and a constitution is like, hey, we're all the guys that actually use it, and this is what we're gonna do with it. So Charles and I don't know if Charles started Cardano solo or if he had some help with other people. I can't quite remember, but it's really cool to see the people say like, hey, this is what we're gonna do, and you can essentially exercise your franchise by owning a piece of the pie, by having Cardano in your wallet. So I think that's fucking awesome, man. I think this is really cool.
Well, to your point, having a white paper is definitely different than the Constitution here. The best synopsis I could give people is that the white paper is a description of the rules of the road, or we'll just like your coding language.
Yeah,
it literally describes how it physically works.
Yeah.
What the Constitution here is at least what it appears to me, is that this is a document that is trying to give some ideas and some tenets and fundamental, I guess, philosophy, so to speak, which is that you're creating kind of like a rules and ethics, or just like aspirations of like, what are the things that you care about? Like, what are your values and what are you trying to protect and uphold here? There are some very technical things going on here with regards to like the section on the amendments. They specify you have to have like 65% of people to meet the voting threshold for a change to happen. And then on top of that, they also have rules and responsibilities for their three different people. They have a D-reps, SPOs, and the Constitutional Committee. So there's specific language on that. But at the same time, largely talking about like the goals of the structure, the goals of the tenets, the goals of like who they want to use this, and what they are and unwilling to change and censor, so to speak. So the Constitution looks good, and by all accounts, it seems that there's already been a good deal of thought that's gone into this. I was using a tool to scrape some of the Cardano forums earlier. This is not the first iteration of this Constitution by any means. They've actually been going back and forth on this for a hot minute now. Some of the things that they've even talked about in the past, they were trying to get clarity. So this document actually used to be more technical. This is a more accessible version of the old documents so that more people understand what's going on. Additionally, the governance model has been revamped multiple times to be more specific. And then also the Treasury provisions and the fiscal restraint. They talk about how they are actually limiting or restraining themselves in certain regards, and then also showing like where they have the ability to move. And then finally, it's just a lot of people talking about how the tenets actually apply in real life. So I think, tenet number 10 states that the system will offer users ways to engage that do not require them to break local laws and regulations. That's an interesting tenet to put in there, because it's kind of like an assumption maybe that like we probably shouldn't be breaking laws, but at the same time, it's the acknowledgement that it's a global blockchain and that your local rules, restrictions, and regulations are going to be different wherever you go. So to the best of their ability, they're going to try to play within the system and not make sure that nobody's doing anything illegal. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good sign of community is where I'm at here, is that you have proposed a vision of the future that speaks in a clear, succinct manner that people are willing to sign on and back. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's a very big thumbs up in the community category for Cardano.
I'm looking up I'm currently looking up so I wrote to ChatGPT to ask how long it's been in the works and in the process. And like Brendan said, this shit's been in the works for quite a bit. I'm seeing the journey began November 2022 with introduction of CIP 1694, which was the proposal to outline basically the on-chain governance system. And then after that, like they've been meeting up in Nairobi, they've been meeting up in Buenos Aires, they've been just doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it's finally come to fruition. And it's also ChatGPT is selling me using a Be in Cryptical article that it passed with like flying oh shit, at the at the Constitutional Conference, an overwhelming 95% of the delegates, 60 out of the 63 members, approved the Constitution. So that's some pretty good numbers. I'm assuming that the delegates were voted in by the people who own the ADA tokens, or the ADA. I guess yeah, ADA would be a coin since it's its own blockchain. But yeah, that's pretty fucking sweet. I love that it's just like it's so widely loved by the Cardano people. Jay, do you have any thoughts? Because you are muted, my friend. It looks like you're talking.
Yeah, a few thoughts on this. I always look at things from a marketing standpoint, right? Because I've always been a salesman. And yes, is this wonderful for Cardano? Absolutely. Right. And this is well within their ethos. I always joke that Richard Hart and Charles would be very best friends because they have a very similar ethos in terms of like complete decentralization. Right. I think outside of Pulse-Chain, Cardano is one of the few L1s who are pushing that message like really, really hard forward. Right. Of course, including Bitcoin. But the question at the end of the day is, do people care about it? And this is not a criticism of the value of Cardano as an L1. It's just simply an observation of the metrics, right? We did an analysis of Cardano as an L1 a few weeks ago, right? Because we were going over the Sol ADA trade. And I told folks, look, it's good to take advantage of the Sol ADA trade because this is obviously Cardano is getting some tailwind behind it. But I am of the opinion that it's, until proven otherwise, it's just a flash in the pan, right? Because the more important is, can the momentum be maintained? And when we went over the metrics for DeFi Llama, I was like, look, you compare Cardano both against Ethereum, right? Against other EVM chains and against non-EVM chains, right? Cardano is a non-EVM chain. You can see that Cardano ranks at the very bottom of the list when it comes to total value locked, when it comes to number of transactions, when it comes to fees generated, when it comes to number of active addresses, right? The number of users, every single proxy that you care about to see if people are actually using it, right? Which tells you if there's a market for it. It's not doing very well compared to the Ethereum side of things and the non-Ethereum side of things. I'm always going to say it, and I think Richard has said it in a similar way, right? Like people really only care about mad gains. And my version of that is good technology is a fortunate byproduct of mad gains. Because at the end of the day, that's what people most care about. We hope that they would value the ethos that Cardano is putting forward, that Pulse-Chain is putting forward, right? So like 100% accountability and responsibility. Complete decentralization, no middleman involved, right? We would all hope that people value that ethos more than number go up. But the unfortunate reality is people care more about number go up. So is this cool for Cardano? Yes, it is. Do people necessarily care about it? I don't think it reflects on the price, right? Now, can the momentum be maintained? Sure thing. Absolutely, right? But that's going to be, it really is going to be dependent on what happens with Charles in regards to the speculation that he's going to be involved significantly with the current with the upcoming administration, right? If there is meat to that, then I think Cardano is going to do really well. I don't think, as much as he wants to extract himself from, like, as the founder, Charles is going to be the face of Cardano. You're never going to be able to pull a Satoshi unless you just completely disappear off the face of the planet. Your actions are going to affect price significantly. So if he gets involved with the White House, yeah, that is significant price positive, like for Cardano. If I could share my screen here really quickly, this is something extremely valuable for the Cardano folks out there who are invested in Cardano, right? to kind of tap on the White House stuff, right? This is him having dinner with Senator Tim Scott, right? So probably pitching his ideas to a U.S. senator. Here's another thing that really, this endeared me to Charles, like this endeared Charles to me a lot more. You know how much controversy has surrounded him because he had a tendency to dunk on people on other projects, right? And it didn't really rub people the right way. But over the past few months, it seems that Charles has had a complete 180, right? Here he is talking about not only doing partnerships and reaching across the aisle with the guys over at XRP, the guys over at Polkadot, but here is one clip that really stood out to me when somebody jumped on his stream. They were obviously celebrating, you know, the success of Cardano, right? During after November 4th, right? It like had some pretty damn good gains, and then somebody chimed in, and well, I'll just let the clip play and speak for itself, right? Now, compare this Charles versus the Charles that we saw in 2022 and 2023.
So we're all in the family now.
Is the audio coming in okay, guys? Cool. Right. And look what he says in response to somebody in the chat cussing Solana out.
What other Polkadot crossovers are there? Well, we're really excited to see where Jam goes. That's a great innovation. We met with some of the Polkadot people in Argentina.
This is not the right
They had a booth there at
1 second.
Jay, while you find that clip, real quick, the meeting with Tim Scott, I think, is actually a pretty good indicator because, just as a heads up for folks, Tim Scott is one of the members on the Committee for Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, including subcommittees for securities, insurance, and investment, and financial institutions. He's also on the Committee for Finance, which includes taxation, IRS oversight, economic growth, and fiscal responsibility. And he's also on the Committee for Small Business and Entrepreneurship. So, building businesses, yes. Investments, yes. Banking, yeah.
Yes.
That's the correct person to be networking with.
Taxes, yes.
Also taxes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so the prior clip that I tried to show, that one was about partnerships with Polkadot. Now look at this, this is Charles' response in against somebody who came into the chat and had some words to say about Solana.
We can't say that anymore, guys. We got to get together. We got to come together. There's a lot of stuff Solana does that's just fine. There's a lot of stuff Cardano does just fine. And I know I've had my part in all of it, and I do apologize to the Solana community if I've been throughout the years unnecessarily harsh. But we as an ecosystem, we have to be better. And let's stop saying fuck ecosystem XYZ or this ecosystem is worse than us. It's not some zero anymore. These are our partners. These are our customers. These are crypto people just like us. And you know what? We can all work together. And there's a lot of really amazing things that are going to happen in Solana. And I think I might even go to a Solana conference next year, especially with Midnight coming out. And I think it's going to benefit Cardano tremendously by doing so. And I think a lot of Solana people would love to come to a Cardano conference. So I'll throw the gauntlet down. If I go to a Solana conference, Solana people, why don't you come to Rare Evo and spend some time there? I'd love for the Solana Foundation sponsor booth. Get to know the Cardano ecosystem. And I'm more than happy to have a Midnight booth be at one of your Solana events. How about that?
All right. Talk about a complete 180, right? Now, is it fun to watch people like Charles and people like Richard dunk on the normies? Yeah, absolutely. But you can see how that rubs people the wrong way, and you end up burning bridges. And you burn bridges to people in crypto who have massive reach. So you're not endearing yourself to anybody, right? And you need allies in this space because we're already a niche space to begin with. You need allies. You don't want to make any more enemies because up until now, if you guys haven't noticed, the United States government and the whole world was basically against crypto, right? So this whole like bagging on each other, probably not congruent to the mission, which is to bring crypto to everybody. And so if Charles is genuine in this 180 and you're reaching out across the aisle to other communities, and then you're also working in Washington, then yeah, I think that on top of the their dedication to the core ethos of crypto, of blockchain, of Bitcoin, of Satoshi, right? All of that combined, I think if if those things are true, right, and they're just not like a flash in the pan, and he's just not pandering, right, for eyes, then I think those things could serve as significant tailwinds for Cardano leading into the rest of this bull run. And yeah, I think Cardano can maintain its spot in the top 10 and actually be more than just a meme.
True. The clips like that you're going to start to see more of, and I think a lot more people are wisening up to the idea that it's not actually a zero-sum game. If you had a Venn diagram for people that care about gains and people who care about like technology and then people who care about like DeFi principles, mass adoption is in the exact center of all of those. Mass adoption is the name of the game right now for every camp going on. So when you do things like try to break down the team sport aspect of crypto, can it be fun? Yes. If you do it, if you take it with a grain of salt and it's all tongue in cheek, but if you're actively over here trying to like hate on other projects, unless they are truly bad actors and you're trying to do so in order to protect people who don't know any better, that's understandable. But outside of that, we all win, we all lose together. It's not going to be individuals. There can be standouts for sure, but overall, I think enough people are wisening up to the idea that the infighting is not helpful, especially for mass adoption. When you're trying to get more people in, and you just look over there and you see a bunch of people in a dog pile fighting each other, cursing, kicking, screaming, and pulling hair. It's like, no, that's not helpful to attracting people.
Yeah, like competition is. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead.
I was just going to say real quick, Jay. That doesn't mean we can stop begging. We don't have to stop begging on XRP and Ripple, do we? Right? There's still some people in this ecosystem that we don't have to lend a hand to, right?
That would require us to write
to Ripple for me.
That would require us to write new jokes or come up with something original. Both of which, I don't know.
I will say that
I feel like Ripple and XRP are kind of like the anti-ethos of what Cardano is now trying to create. What Pulse Chain has already been created by Richard, right? It's like the exact opposite of what we're trying to create in this space.
I am happy for the holders, though. The holders got some nice little price action with the stuff going on. Like I don't necessarily agree with what Ripple's doing, but yeah, like everybody getting gains. Like it's realistically, if you look at it, there's what 500 million people in cryptocurrency, and there's like 8 or 9 billion people in the world. So that's a pretty low number. So it's more or less like us against the world. It's like a 20-on-1 or something like that. So if like the 5% of us that know about cryptocurrency and do stuff with it are all just doing nothing but like fighting each other on the inside, we're not going to be grabbing people on the outside. They're not going to be looking at that thinking like, oh, what a delicious, juicy place to go over there. I want to hang out with these guys. Nah, they're all just fucking kicking and screaming and pulling each other's hair. It's like if I'm walking through a store and I see a family and they've got like 5 kids and they're all like, like going crazy and like throwing shit out of the cart and like running all over the store and doing crazy things. It's like, oh, I don't want to go over there and talk to the parent. But if I see like 5 well-behaved children and they're like helping mom grab stuff off the shelf and bring it over to the cart and they're being very polite and like just helping out and being positive, it's like, oh yeah, I might go interact with those people and say like, hey, what's up? What's going on? Like have a nice day. Like I hope you're doing good things. It's just part of the whole like people are attracted to attractive things. And if people are acting unattractively, then people stay away. So and this is something that I think is really important. I'm going to shine the spotlight on us here on the Degen Roundtable. We focus on positivity a lot here on the Degen Roundtable. We try our very best not to get involved in drama, not to talk shit about other people and other things going on. Like we focus very, very strongly on keeping it positive minded and staying away from negativity. And if we do have to talk about negativity, then it's with the guise of like putting a lesson on something and bringing it up like educationally, not like as a point of drama or as a point of indignation. It's like, hey, let's learn from this bad thing that's happening and put a silver lining on it and try and figure out like what's going on. That's like, something that I think that the entire cryptocurrency, not to like pat ourselves on the back, but it's something that we do. And I think that it's worth mentioning is like the more people that are out there being positive, the more people that are being helpful or educational or like willing to work with other teams. Like, Cardano and Solana got a lot that is super dissimilar between those two chains. But the fact that Charles is like, hey, let's see what we can teach you, and let's see what you guys can teach us, and let's fucking combine our forces. Twin powers unite. We'll create Captain Planet, and we'll go save the universe.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. That's how it should be because, look, like Z said, there could still be competition, right? And this also echoes what Brendan said. You don't have to be in a circle jerk of dudes just hyping each other up and then you're ignorant to all of the nonsense that's going on. No, right? You could still dig on each other every once in a while, but you have to learn how to separate the wheat from the chaff, right? Like Cardano obviously gets it right when it comes to the ethos of crypto. Solana obviously got it right when it comes to let's just break things, like ask permissions later and apologize after, right? Let's just like break things, apologize later, ask permission later. Obviously that has worked, right? Because they have certainly had, like, they're the winningest trade of this cycle, right? Within the top 10. Sorry. It's like, even though XRP eclipsed it as from the number 4 spot, XRP is, I think, sitting at number 3 in terms of market cap right now. It doesn't matter. Solana is still the winningest trade this entire cycle from within the top 10, right? And so, like, you can pick and choose the good things that other L1s and L2s and other project founders and communities do, right? And then you leave the bad things to the side as a learning experience, right? Like Will said, right? You never should be ignorant to the bad things that other project founders, communities, and L1s and L2s are doing, right? But you should also not be ignorant to the good things that they're doing. You should probably reach across the aisle and say, hey, I like the good thing you're doing. How do you think we can implement it here so that we can move this space forward? Right? Like that's how it should be. And that's not a circle jerk. That's taking the best of the best, implementing it, and then leaving the bad stuff like on the side of the road.
And look, rising tides lift all boats. The crypto market overall is still very small. The percentage of people that are in crypto worldwide is very small. You know, anything that gets people into crypto is going to be good for all of us, for all blockchains, all ecosystems. And it's kind of the same thing in Pulse Chain a little bit, in my opinion. There's a lot of fighting about narratives, about core coins, about meme coins, about lying, about deceiving. But like, the goal is to continue to build our community, to continue to have a vision of building what, you know, Richard Hart has always had a desire to do, in taking that as a community and helping him, right? And bringing more people to the ecosystem. And the infighting isn't going to help with that. You know, any narrative that brings people into Pulse Chain is going to help everything in Pulse Chain, in my opinion. But again, rising tides lift all boats. And so if more people are coming to crypto because of Solana or Cardano or Pulse Chain, it's good. But us as a community, us as people that are obviously very heavily invested in the Richard Hart ecosystem, we have to continue to build. We have to continue to spread those olive branches. We're starting to see a lot of new people come to the ecosystem. And I'm really excited about where we're going. Holy moly, my son.
It's gonna be good, bro. Go ahead, Jay, and then I'm gonna use this opportunity to transition us over to our next one as soon as you're done.
Yeah, I'm just gonna round it off by, look, is it okay if you're in crypto Twitter helping expose the scammers? Yeah, absolutely. But if you're using that time to just shit talk other folks, congratulations, you just moved out of high school and you just found a different medium. You're still a high schooler.
Yep.
If you've got enough time to talk shit on the internet, you've got enough time to earn more money, learn more about crypto, or do something more productive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you're a grown-ass adult man and woman or other, just use that time productively. Right. Don't be a high schooler.
My fancy transition into the next topic is we're actually going to discuss something that happened over the week that was moderately painful, and it is a bit dramatic, but we're going to be talking about what happened, not for the indignance and not for the showboating, but to explain to people like, hey, these are things that you guys need to watch out for. This is stuff that that has a tendency to happen in the meme coin world and in the celebrity coin world. And so, like, the thing that I'm talking about, the thing that I'm leading into, is what went on over on Solana with the I think I can't remember. I think her name is Haley. Doesn't matter what her name is. Haley Welch. Yep. So there was a coin that happened. It was the Hawk Tua coin. It popped up, and then something happened on chain where it started flying in price, and then it immediately just like crashed down to nothingness. Now, I haven't done any on-chain analysis of this, but this is one of those things that happens whenever you have a very famous person and then a coin is launched in their name. I'm not sure if Haley was a part of the developing team. I'm not sure if she hired some third-party entity and one of the developers like took the money and ran, or what happened. But the unfortunate nature of this sort of thing is that this happens. There was rugs in last bull market with I think gentlemen such as Ty Lopez or oh shoot, there was a whole bunch of celebrity coins made. And here's the thing: is like I don't even know if the celebrities endorse these coins, or if their publicist is just like, hey, we got some crypto people working, they're gonna do a thing, and we'll give you some money for it, and then maybe celebrities like, oh, okay, cool beans, whatever, and then like fucking X, Y, and Z person coin, like John Smith coin is made, and then all of a sudden, like some people start buying it because people like John Smith, and then all of a sudden, whap, fucking price goes to zero. And it can go to zero because of a whole bunch of things. It could go to zero because the people that provided liquidity yanked all the liquidity out as soon as people started putting the money in, or perhaps there was a hack or something along those lines. But let's talk about what happened with Hawk2A, and let's try and find see if we can figure out what are some things for the folks at home to avoid, and what's some stuff for people to like look out for and keep in mind when it comes to this stuff. So let's see here on the Hawk2A thing. Okay, so we've got two Twitter links. I'm gonna go ahead and pull these up. Right. Oh, look at that. They're already pulled up.
So just to run through the timeline real quick, I got this. This is from Alex Mason. Not sure who he is, but the thread that he created here is actually a very good, just quick and dirty synopsis of the timeline going on. So we all know Haley Welch went viral a few months ago, I think. In my personal opinion, she's probably the best example of a person who's really capitalized on her 5 minutes of fame and without doing OnlyFans. So she's been networking with a lot of people, launched a podcast and all that. Hawk2A gets famous. Number 2, simple candid moment, goes wild, has the frame, has phrase, has everything, starts taking over social media. No one knows really who she is. And then she started selling a little bit of merchandise, made some money that way. And then after that, starts networking with other people like Jake Paul, who also does his own NFT stuff that has been catching hot water lately. And then she even went on a podcast with Mark Cuban and talked a little bit about, if I ever launch a meme coin, can I send you some of that? And he goes, yeah, sure thing. I'll give you my wallet address. So now she's gathering celebrity endorsements from the overnight fame fueling her ambition. She jumped in the crypto craze by launching her own meme coin. That's where we get this. Let's see.
My Hawk meme coin is live! My Hawk...
I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. But yep, there you go. Hawk is launched. And then after that, it rapidly hit a $500 million market cap within 5 minutes, or within minutes, excuse me, I don't know the exact timeline, but then it dumps 95%.
6 minutes.
It was minutes.
6 minutes.
Not even double digits.
You're looking at a minute chart there. Z, that's the minute chart, what you see right there.
Jesus Christ. That is the 30-minute chart, it looks like.
Oh.
But yeah, each of these candles, yeah, that's...
But it was 6 minutes, because I looked at the minute chart.
Correct, there you go. And then after the shocking rug pull, Haley shared a post addressing the fallout and concerns, some of the tokenomics. That's where we get this image. This is a little bit of the distribution of the original token generation event and where everything went to. And there's also the claim that the team hasn't sold one token and not one influencer, KOL, key opinion leader is what they call it now. It's influencers. And none of them were given one free token, even though
two things. That's what they say. This is what they say the Hawknomics is. There's a lot of conversation going on that is not at all what the tokenomics of this coin is.
Correct. Some people have been sleuthing online and they have used the bubble maps and discovered that 96% of the supply was concentrated in a single cluster, meaning the developer controlled 96% of the tokens and dumped them, liquidating exactly 100% of the supply that they had.
And there was a sniper too.
Yep.
I don't know if that was an inside job or not, but
there's a lot of speculation right now. Backlash from the community was immediate and intense, and investors realized they'd been scammed. Many voiced outrage, strongly disagreeing with the developers' actions and blatant manipulation that left them bearing the losses. After that, there were multiple Twitter X spaces launched. However, Haley Welch actually kind of just canceled one of them and abruptly was like, all right, I'm going to bed. Peace.
I remember that.
It's like,
that was funny.
What?
That pissed me the fuck off.
And they did a space in CoffeeZilla went in there, and he was just essentially asking questions and saying, nope, that's a lie. Nope, that's a lie. Nope, that's a lie. It's on chain. We can read it. They're like, well, we were there. We saw it. No, nobody. Blockchain doesn't lie. This was hilarious. If anyone has a chance to listen to this, go listen to this 6 minutes because it was great entertainment.
Is that the other? That's the other link.
That's the one that we have right here. It's from Altcoin Daily. They have a recording of the Twitter space. Allegedly, the Twitter space was deleted after it was recorded. However,
Now, allegedly, it was deleted.
It was? Okay, there you go. Some people did end up recording it, though. So we do have records of it. And one of them is from CoffeeZilla. And he is a guy that routinely does investigative reporting and looking into a lot of crypto scams, to be honest, but also a lot of just like online guru nonsense and debunking them. So I'm pretty sure he has like 3.5 million subscribers on YouTube. So big name, big dude, does this for a living. And in my personal opinion, absolutely exposes these people who are just trying to deflect. And at one point, this Doc Hollywood guy, whoever is their developer or whatever running the space, is just like, oh, yes, but where we get money. What about you? Who pays you, man? Who pays you? And he goes, no. We're not talking about me. This is your Twitter space. Where's the money?
And not only that, it's like, okay, not only that, but he's like, oh, no, the money goes to a foundation that they set up in the Cayman Islands. And so it's a foundation. Oh, no one's getting the money. The foundation is, well, who owns the foundation? Oh, I don't know. It's the foundation. Literally the conversation that's happening.
Yeah, it's a little bit silly, to be honest.
Also, there was another, so CoffeeZilla actually hosted a space about this, and he had like 1,500 people. And the last person that came on that space and talked, it's on his X if you want to go look at it, actually worked with Doc on Solana. And he pulled out of a project with him because he's like, this guy's a grifter. All he does is want to build up pre-sales and extract as much value early on from a project as possible. And so look, I don't know that person any more than I know Doc, so I can't say who's right, who's wrong. But all I can say, if this is a pattern, then that's a worry. Now, look, Haley, do I think she knows anything about cryptocurrency? No. Do I think she knows anything about developing a blockchain? No. And so what she did is trust somebody, or whoever her handlers were, trusted somebody. But essentially, they got scammed, as did everybody else. Now, that doesn't mean that she doesn't have responsibility here, right? You have a responsibility to do your due diligence with the people that you go to business with. You know, we talk about this all the time. Like, the people that we want to do business with, we want to be able to trust. And so you have responsibility of the people that you hire and the people that you do business with. So even if you're scammed, even if it wasn't you making these decisions, even if you made a bad choice, you still have some responsibility here. Oh, by the way, she hasn't tweeted since that space. She hasn't tweeted in 4 days. She hasn't been heard of. I think she actually is still asleep from that time she went to bed and canceled the space, potentially. But the whole point is, right? Like, be careful.
Well, I was gonna make an insurance joke, but that would not be in good taste.
But I think she's worried about getting sued. I definitely think that's a possibility.
Yeah.
But for our community, look, don't get overexcited on these hot new things, these influencers, these tokens that are being launched by famous people. Because first of all, none of them have worked out well. Second of all, look, we want to invest. Sure, there's some meme coins you can invest in, throw your scratchers, no problem. You can make good money, especially this cycle, having done that. But really, let's focus on the projects that we trust. And let's make sure that most of our bags are in places where we're going to expect good returns long term. And then take your scratchers and throw them around. But this is not a type of project that you should be investing in. On top of it, which we didn't know when this launched because they didn't say it, there was a 15% buy and sell tax. So they made $2 million day one, I think around 2 million, maybe more now.
Just in fees. Just in fees.
Just in 15% fees that went to this foundation in the Cayman Islands. So 15%. So in our Telegram, I was like, maybe this, before I knew that, I was like, maybe this coin could be taken over by the community and built up. What community is going to build a coin up that has a 15% tax on every transaction? It's ridiculous. This was a big scam, terrible launch, and this is just another example of you have to be careful in this space.
True. So let's talk about some of the other fallout. So to begin with, I think there are a few camps on feelings about the token and anyone who's involved in the token, which is that if you are surprised that the Haktua girl launched a meme coin, it was a rug. It's like, are you really surprised? Or is it
shame on
kind
you.
of rather foreseeable? It's like, yeah, there's a lot of tweets going around in the space right now. It's like, if you thought this was legitimate for 1 second, you are like,
and on Solana.
we have a bridge of Brooklyn to sell you like right now.
So there's going to be new people entering into crypto all the time, especially now being the bull market. So if you're new to this space and you see someone launch a coin with their name on it, and their name isn't Bitcoin or Ethereum, then like you should probably hold fast a little bit. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you, Zenith, but like
You're good.
There's going to be a lot of people joining and a lot of people going and flocking to these things, and a lot of folks are going to get wrecked. And unfortunately, that money is going to flow to like people with patience or people with better developers that just like build these very elaborate mouse traps that just fucking snag you. But continue with your thought.
No, to continue with your thought there, the unfortunate thing is that for some people, this is their first interaction with any sort of cryptocurrency project. And if you have gone through the effort to learn how to do all the wallets on Solana just to get some meme coins for some potential gains and a laugh along the way, and then you immediately get rug pulled, yeah, guess what? You're probably never coming back to this space. And that's unfortunate because like we talked about earlier, we need mass adoption. We need good actors and we need good projects. It doesn't matter if it's something kind of silly, as long as you are not being a bad actor and you're building bad projects designed to scam people out of their money, then guess what? It's probably fine to have part of the ecosystem. But this has just become a very large fiasco, and I think that it unfortunately it appears to be another data point in a trend suggesting that what's the typical path for people that get 5 minutes of fame? They try to capitalize it, try to get podcast appearance, try to get hooked up with all the other celebrities, and then inevitably they end up in some sort of weird crypto scam that they don't understand and that the people buying it also don't understand. And then unfortunately, there are enough bad actors out there. Like we say, there's a Nigerian prince born every day. They are going to reach out to these people who don't know any better and be like, hey, you want to make like a quick 100K? We'll just launch a meme coin for your community. And they're like, okay, sure, what could happen? What could happen is people lose their life savings, because unfortunately you have to remember that 100 is the average IQ and that both sides of the bell curve do exist. So that's what you got there. Outside of that, though, I do have a screen share, Mrs. Producer, if you don't mind. So this is another meme coin. It's not the Hawk meme coin, though. This is the Tua meme coin, and you might notice it's called Straight Tua Prison, aka
Hey, how much you guys want to bet that Gary Gensler is going to come after her?
That's a coin flip. I think Gary is worried about his own skin right now, but in my personal opinion, if there ever was bad actors to go after, this is a decent example. Not this token right here, but the Hawk token itself. By the way, if you click the website link on Dex Screener, it takes you to the SEC tips, complaint, and referrals page.
That's awesome.
Yep, and then here
sign me up. Where do I buy this
Here's
thing?
Their Twitter.
These guys are brilliant. Like, oh man, like I hate shilling coins, but this is fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
this is fun.
Yeah, this is a wonderful case study, right? Look, whether she goes to prison or not, yet to be determined. But I can guarantee you right now that this is probably one where you have a good case, right? Because if this was launched like a regular celebrity coin or like a regular meme coin, where all the tokens were just out into the open and ready for public sale, that's different, right? But what they had on her X page, right, was the tokenomics. Obviously, all of that was false because we know that 90%, 96% of the supply was held by like a single entity. So that says a lot, right? Because like Brendan said, the blockchain does not lie, which is why that Spaces really upset me, because I was there when CoffeeZilla was speaking and he was like, look, man, you could say whatever you want, this, that, or the other, but on-chain data says X, Y, and Z. And then this Doc Hollywood just kept denying it. I'm like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, there is a paper trail. There is a paper trail for people to follow. So this is
like how you think that there's not.
Yeah.
You think no one's going to figure this out? What?
Yeah, it's like, there's a obvious paper trail there, right? You're caught red-handed, and then you are like basically like. And here's the thing: a lot of people in that Spaces are like maybe your average Joe and Jane, and so they're not going to understand. So they're probably still going to give this guy the benefit of the doubt and says and think, yeah, you know what, they might not have scammed people, but it's like, bro, everything exists transparently on the blockchain. All right, so I'm waiting to see what CoffeeZilla, because he's probably going to do a deep dive on this. And yeah, I think the reason why she hasn't been on X since is precisely because her lawyers probably told her to shut the fuck up, don't put anything else online, and just like wait for it, like let us handle the rest, right? Because you're just going to do more damage. And this is
Correct.
this is a good case study. If you're investing in something, this is why we encourage you to look at the fundamentals, right? How much is being given to the team? How much is being given to like the A round, the B round, the angel investors, right? How does it exist in a vesting period? What's the fucking unlock schedule, right? Like, what's the market cap? How many tokens are going to be in circulation? Like, these are the things that you need to take into consideration when investing into something, because it's going to tell you what's going to happen potentially with sell pressure, right? And bro, 96% of the assets belonging to a singular entity that has no vesting schedule. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think was the obvious thing that was going to happen? 96%. No lock period.
True. So, gentlemen, I do request that we put our legal caps on for a second, and we ask our local lawyer, or not lawyer, but ChatGPT in this case. So, you might ask, it's a meme token. How could you possibly get in trouble? Well, you see, there's this thing called the Securities Act of 1934, aka primarily where the SEC derives its authority. There are two major concerns that Haley Welch may find herself in trouble with in the upcoming future. Number one, insider trading, coming from Section 10B of the SEC Act of 1934 prohibits manipulative and deceptive practices in connection with the purchase or sale of securities. And B5 prohibits fraudulent or deceitful activities in securities market, including insider trading. So, gentlemen, we did just discuss that 96% of the supply was pretty much in the inner circle. If you remember back to the graphic that she gave on Twitter, that is not what that is conveying, in my personal opinion. That is absolutely going to get dragged in front of court, in my opinion, if this happens to go this route. So, again, Insider Trading Sanctions Act of 1984 increases penalties for insider illegal trading. And Insider Trading and Securities Fraud Enforcement Act of 88 enhances enforcement capabilities and liabilities. So there you go. Those are the three pieces of law that you can look at for this one. Let's look at the elements here. We have material information. Information that would affect the investor's decision to buy or sell. Was any of that withheld from the public? Interesting. Yep. Element number two, non-public information. Information not generally available to the public. Yep, agreed. Not available to the public.
15% tax.
Agreed. Number three, duty. The accused must have breached a fiduciary duty or other trust to keep the information confidential. Well, it depends on who she's telling. So if she told
this dumb bimbo fucking dropped the contract address before, like on her X page before launch, bro.
Yep.
You
All right.
think you're not gonna get sniped? You dumb bitch.
Yeah. All right. So to round it out, so this first one, we're looking at insider trading specifically. The potential penalties. We have civil penalties, fines, and up to 3 times the profit gained or loss avoided. Therefore, if we went from a 400 million market cap, or was it 500? I'm pretty sure we went from.
It was a big number.
Tell you what, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
million.
We'll call it 400 million down to 50 million. That is a $350 million market cap disappearance. 3 times that is also close to $1 billion, if not slight. I think it's like 1.05 billion, if my quick math is correct. So criminal penalties, fines up to $5 million for individuals, fines up to $25 million for entities, and jail time of up to 20 years. On to the second one real quick. Pump and dump schemes. This is the other half that she might be looking at. Again, Securities Act in 1934 and the Commodity Exchange Act addresses manipulation in commodities markets. This one specifically prohibits artificially affecting the price of a security and prohibits fraud in securities transactions. So elements of a pump and dump scheme: false or misleading statements, dissemination of false information to inflate the price, intentional manipulation, coordinated buying or selling to influence the market. Number 3, profit from artificial price increase. Perpetrators sell their holdings at inflated prices. And then number 4, harm to other investors. Other investors incur losses as the price collapses. Gentlemen, how are we looking at the elements here?
Seems like it checks off a lot of the boxes, right? It checks off almost every single one. And this is such a great case study because a lot of people don't want to go through stuff like the white paper. They don't want to go through the tokenomics. They don't want to go through the fundamentals. Well, if you take a look at the white paper and you discover, like, okay, here's how much the investors are getting. Here's how much the team is getting. Here's what the vesting schedule looks like. I encourage people to not only do that, but to actually take screenshots of these individual white papers, because what you'll discover in crypto, it's not often that something happens down along the line, sometime in the future, where that thing gets modified or it just completely disappears from the white paper, right? And that is a red fucking flag. If they are not willing to tell you how much of the asset is being held by investors, by the team, by the vesting, like what the vesting period is, if they are not willing to tell you that information, stay the fuck away.
True. Very true. So, real quick, one of the questions might be, why would the SEC care about this? This seems like small beans. Is there any sort of track record for the SEC going after meme coins in particular? Oh, I'm glad you asked, hypothetical viewer, because there is. We have SafeMoon. In November of 2023, the SEC charged SafeMoon and its executive team with fraud and the unregistered offering of crypto securities. Again, we have ViFam and Saitama Inu. In October of 2024, the SEC filed a lawsuit against ViFam alleging fraudulent activities relating to the Saitama Inu meme coin. And then finally, we get to, you might notice we're treating these as securities because the SEC is trying to treat these as securities. To be forthright and honest, as we are hoping all crypto founders and project people and just crypto people in general are. Have we been covering the Richard Hart case? Yes, absolutely. Are we insisting that that case is not a security? I do believe so, yes. I think that is a misinterpretation of the Howey test, in particular by the SEC. However, I can also call a spade and say that this one right here has very different fundamentals in that case. So I'm not just trying to pick the people I like and shit on the people I don't like. I'm trying to be very specific here. So we are going to look at the Howey test real quick, which includes the classification of meme coins as securities. It needs to fit 4 prongs. You need to have an investment of money. Investors provide capital. It must be in a common enterprise, aka a common venture altogether. Number 3, an expectation of profits. And lastly, that expectation of profits must be from the efforts of others. So, gentlemen, question for you. If you are launching a meme coin, what work do you think must be done by a founder in order to ensure the project is successful? Will anyone buy a meme coin if no one believes it exists? Or do you have to specifically provide marketing for such?
Yes, you do.
Interesting. Would you believe that the marketing is intended to affect sales or theoretically increase the price of an asset?
Correct.
Fair enough. Okay. Based on that, would you say that the assumption is that the increase in value is going to be based on the efforts of other people involved in this common enterprise?
Correct.
Look, we're not huge fans of the Howey test here, but this is the law as it stands. And as it stands, on its face, I'm not going to say she's going to get sued, but I think there's a case.
Yeah, look, there's going to be more details that come out about her and the people behind this. Because, again, I don't think she made some bad decisions, but I don't think she was maybe the bad actor per se, or the bad actors. Or if we're going to put blame pie, what percentage goes to Haley versus, the people that built the tokenomics and the development of this token? Probably giving more of the blame pie to the people that built this token. But I also give her a lot of blame because she's the face of this. This is her coin. These are people she hired. And therefore, you can't give her a pass just because she didn't develop. This was her idea. These are the people that she hired. So, decisions.
I am very sorry. Well, I'm not very sorry because I am an ultimate responsibility type of person. 100% of the blame belongs to Haley Welch because she's the one who precipitated everything. I don't care if she was rugged by her developers. You should have done your due diligence and looked into the team, looked at their history. Like, the buck stops with you. If this goes to trial and they are found guilty, yes, like the developers are probably going to be found guilty as well. But at the end of the day, the responsibility lies with her. She does not get any sort of pass. You are a grown-ass woman. Own up to your fucking mistakes.
That's true. And to put one more point on it, as to put it back on the legal cap here, looking at the actions that Haley has taken, both publicly speaking and also the networking and actions she's taking, she has knowingly and willingly involved herself in both the creation and promotion of this, whatever you want to call it. So that right there, it shows to me the state of mind or the intent behind the actions that happened.
This
5
is,
minutes of fame's ending quick.
Yep.
But also, it's a high profile case, right? Because she's still very much in the public eye. Everybody knows
It's still
about her.
fresh. It's very fresh.
And this is, I've seen Yahoo talk about it. I've seen a lot of major sites and news outlets mention this. I've seen normies on my random social media. This is why crypto's a scam. I'm like, I can't even engage with those people.
No, this is why scams are scams.
But it's going to keep retail out of the market a little bit longer. So that's not necessarily a bad thing for us. We want retail to come in a little bit later, so our market can continue to go up.
I think it's going to be an interesting. We will see as time moves forward. There was a lot of money put into this thing, and so because a lot of money was put into it and a lot of money was stolen away, there's very likely going to be a lot of effort put into the regaining of that money. And with that effort comes some investigation and comes some sleuthing. I suppose we'll see what CoffeeZilla does in response to this. Maybe Zach XBT will take this up and see what he can figure out. But I think that we're going to learn a lot in the coming weeks, and months. The thing that I want to give to the folks at home before we move on to chat shoutouts and close out the show is I want to say, as you guys are dabbling around in the crypto sphere, make sure that if you don't know what you're doing, you find yourself a mentor, find yourself someone who has experience, whether it's us here on stream on the Degen Roundtable, other vetted people who have a brand and a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a history of providing good quality advice and just like I guess just a brand and identity, something that's at stake, right? If people are out there and they're putting their name on stuff and it doesn't mean anything, then you don't necessarily need to trust those people. If people are out there and they're giving good advice and they've got a proven track record of doing great things, whether it's Charles Hoskins or whether it's Richard Hart or whether it's Satoshi Nakamoto or frickin' Brian Baldstrom or Brian Armstrong. Baldilocks, right? All those damn bald people in crypto. I fucking hate them all. But I think that it's important for you guys to find people that are trustworthy. And if you don't trust, and you shouldn't trust the trustworthy people either, you should cross-reference between multiple people who know nothing about each other. And
well, what's the saying?
Trust but verify.
There it is.
Trust but verify. Thank you, Ronald Reagan, who probably, I bet you Ronald Reagan probably stole that from his opposition or from someone. Nobody comes up with their own quotes. Everyone's regurgitating everything that they heard other people say. But the point is that you guys need to trust the trustworthy people and verify even the stuff that they say. Just don't even give untrustworthy people your time and attention. And to determine whether people are trustworthy or not, you just got to pay attention to your gut instinct, because that will tell you all the things that your subconscious is processing that your conscious mind isn't even aware of, and develop the ability to read people and to interact with human beings and, study all that sort of thing. That's all that I got. Gentlemen, I'll give you guys an opportunity for final thoughts, but we are coming up on our 2 hours mark here of the show. So it's time for chat motherfucking shout outs, where we shout you guys out and we talk to you guys about what your thoughts are as we're going through the show. We're going to welcome all of the new people who showed up in between the beginning chat shoutouts and where we're at right now. So Mrs. Producer, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and pulling these up. We've got first up, Mr. Tin Top. What's up, Hexicans? What's up to you too, sir? Mr. Tin Top, our favorite Mandalorian. Good to see you, amigo. Oh, excuse me. Next up, we've got none other than Large. We've got our Star Wars guys coming in first today. Large with the Stormtrooper helmet and Tin Top with the Mando. Large says, "What's up, Degens? What's up to you too, sir? It's good to see you. I see you were chatting with Agent J over there in the comments and things. Good to see you, amigo. Welcome, welcome." Next up in chat shoutouts, it looks like we've got none other than Hex Glenn. Degen Roundtable. Hello, amigo. What's up to you too, Mr. Hex Glenn? It's always good to see you, bro. I love seeing Hexkins, and I love seeing the OGs of the Degen Roundtable community and all the new faces as well. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's doing awesome. And then finally, we've got Ricky Paul Music. Hey, fam. What's up, Ricky Paul? An OG from the OG world. Dude, it's good to see you in the chats, Ricky. What's up, broski?
A Degen.
A proper fucking Degen.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness. Yes,
in
it is.
Spirit and in action.
Yeah. Oh man, that is
Well,
fucking.
produces some dope music too.
Oh yeah, shout out to Ricky. You do some awesome stuff. I think he's got a Spotify or a SoundCloud or something. If he's not too shy, I'm sure he will post it up in the Telegram. I know he's in the community, and he Ricky Paul makes some cool things, and I will leave it at that because I don't know how much information he's put out there about himself. But it's good to see you, Ricky, and it's good to see everyone. Gentlemen, this concludes our show. We did not get a chance today to talk about the Senate Banking Committee voting on Wednesday to renominate Caroline Crenshaw or not. I'll just mention it really quick as we are on our way out, just so you guys at home know. This is one of the things that the Senate was talking about. Caroline Crenshaw is one of the last standing members of the SEC, and she's the only Democrat left. And so we're going to find out what happens on that, and we're interested to find out, and we'll probably talk about it later or in the Telegram. Until then, though, for the folks at home, let's talk about where we can be found and what we've got going on in the near future, starting with my co-host, Mr. Agent J. Where can the folks find you, and what have you got going on?
Just to double tap on Caroline, Will, that's coming Wednesday, correct?
It was either this Wednesday already happened or
Yes,
it's coming up.
this coming Wednesday.
There we go.
So remember, CPI also comes out on Wednesday. If she gets canned and CPI comes in favorable, expect the market to pump really, really, really well. So aside from that, can we bring up one more comment here? it was by Cotton Trust near the bottom. That was a really good comment by Cotton Trust. You can find it.
A look.
Yep.
How much responsibilities belongs to the buyers? The buyers are 100% responsible for everything that they buy. So if you buy a rug token, you're responsible for clicking that button. And if the devs rug it, they are 100% responsible for rugging. Everyone is 100% responsible for their own actions, both on both sides and everything else. Nobody's coming to save you. Expect to self-rescue. And that's basically all that there is to it. Everything that you buy, all the good stuff and all the bad stuff, is your fucking fault. So you better be ready to accept the responsibility when your stuff goes to the moon or when it goes to the shitter, because or when it just fucking crabs onto infinity and then nothing ever happens. Sorry, XRP. Just kidding. You guys went up eventually. It just took you 2 fucking cycles. God
in the
damn,
interest of fairness, I'll take the other side of the coin real quick. So the reason that fraud is a crime is that it actually eliminates the ability of people to act as responsible individuals, which is that if you are promoting a fraud, aka lying to people, misinforming people, deceiving people, that is the thing that negates due diligence. So at the end of the day, you are ultimately responsible for what happens to you and your money and the funds that you choose to put in projects. But at the same time, though, the reason that it is a crime is because you are negating the ability to do said due diligence and build good projects. There's always risk involved with investing, but the risk with investing is based on market principles, not based on theft, deceit, and omissions.
This is true. You're absolutely right, Zenith. And in that sense, you're right. And in the de facto sense, there's nobody that's going to do anything about it. The law will step in and they'll punish people and they'll stop people from doing it in the future, hopefully. But as far as is your money coming back to you? Probably not. Is anyone going to save you? Probably not. It's up to you to do your best to try and avoid the things that smell like obvious scams, and then swim around in the great big blue ocean. Other than all that stuff, I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to my new co-host, Mr. Brendan the Anonymous Bean, and I'm going to ask, where can the folks find you, and what have you got going on in the near future?
Well, you can find me on anonymous__ bean on X. Other than that, this week I will not be on the show Wednesday. Got a busy week. Going to my bachelor party next weekend. A lot going on, but super excited. So I guess I'm out Wednesday and Sunday this coming week. So a bit disappointed, but happy to be here tonight. Great show. Lots of good comments, lots of good people. And, I didn't even get to pull up all the charts and things that I wanted to. But look, sentiment of a market cycle. I don't know if you guys have seen that chart before, but we're still really quite early. We're starting to get into this optimism phase, maybe getting a little bit past there, but we got a long way to go. So continue to be diligent. Don't cheat your bags. If you've been watching us for 2 years, if you've been in our telegrams longer than that, then you are here to do the work. Don't lose out now. So excited about where we're going. Very, very excited. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Hope everybody has good holidays coming up, and good luck during the holiday season. But don't sleep on crypto. Continue to pay attention. Other than that, man, I don't really have a lot. I will say one cool thing this week is I'm always trying to find ways, make money to put more money into the market. So I tried to buy these sneakers, these like Nike Air Force Ones, the Kobe Bryant launch. And they only made 8,000 of them, and I somehow got a pair. They're individually numbered, and I bought them like just on the app. No idea how I got a pair. Random. But that's gonna be a nice little payday when I sell those in the future. So
yeah, dude,
that money's gonna go.
When I saw that you stacked those, like, I know nothing about shoes, but I know that that's some fucking good ass shoes, especially since Kobe, rest his soul, is no longer with us, and like that's a good fucking investment, bro. I was very happy for you when I saw that.
And
that's
look,
awesome.
I don't know anything about sneakers either. I just saw that these were launching, and I was like, I have to try to get a pair because this is an opportunity for me to make money.
I like it.
So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Anyway, Zenith?
Folks, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ZenithDI, and then I'm actually doing a special stream tomorrow with RH Max over on his channel, featuring him, myself, and Shill Gates of Twitter. So I will be talking to Shill Gates about Pulse Chain and why everyone is not bullish enough on Pulse Chain Hex and all the rest. That is what's going on over there. Folks, please give me a follow on Twitter. I'm going to be announcing a lot of some side projects that I'm going to be assisting with or part of in the near future over on there. So if you like what I do, that's where you can find more of it. Or you can catch me talking to Shill Gates tomorrow on RH Max's channel. I'm excited for this.
Honestly, I love that Shill Gates. Honestly, he's like they're the type of people that we need to get into the ecosystem. This is good, and he's bullish, super bullish.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm excited. This is going to be a blast.
This is going to be excellent. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and round it up and talk about what the Degen Roundtable is doing in the near future. But before I do that, I'm going to make sure that you guys know to go follow Agent J at x.com/_P90 Hex. That's right. Oh, yeah, look at that. There it is down there. Thank you, Mrs. Producer. That's where you guys can find Agent J. It is in the live comments below. And I will say his very special saying at the very end when I'm reading the copywriting. As far as the Degen Roundtable goes, though, we have a show on Wednesday that I will be hosting where we will be interviewing none other than Cryptographics, not cryptographics, Cryptographics with no R. This is the gentleman who's made the super cool Pulse Chain onboarding cards that are for sale over on Amazon. And we're going to be talking about those. We're going to be talking about him teaching people about cryptocurrency. We're just going to be talking about a whole bunch of awesome things. So you guys can find us this Wednesday, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, here on the Degen Roundtable. For those of you guys that are new to the Degen Roundtable, we stream every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. So that is 7 p.m. Central, or 6 p.m. Mountain Time, or 5 p.m. Pacific, or wherever you guys are in the world. That's where, or I guess, it starts at midnight London time. I learned that the other day. That's when the hex clock resets. So if you guys have a state coming out on any particular day, it comes out as soon as the Degen Roundtable starts streaming on those Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. We did skip last week's interview. We were going to interview Cryptographics on Wednesday, and we were going to do book club last Friday as well. But unfortunately, my internet over in El Salvador was not very fancy, and my schedule was not very good to get me inside of the hotel where I needed to be to do those streams. So we're doing them this week instead. So we're going to be interviewing Graphics on Wednesday, and we're going to be doing book club for Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill on Friday. Again, all of the Degen Roundtable streams are at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Then our next show after that's just going to be our standard Sunday news show, much like this one here. Where we talk about all the things that happened in the news over the week. As far as me, you guys can find me. Oh, I think I dropped the Degen Roundtable Telegram. Make sure you guys also join the Degen Roundtable Telegram chat. We've got word that the QR code now works. Apparently, there was a problem with Telegram earlier. The Bitly account that I was using was not able to access the T.me for joining the Telegram. It now works. If you guys scan this QR code down here in the middle, the bottom middle of the page, it will take you to the Degen Roundtable Telegram. If you don't want to scan the QR code, you can click on the link that's in the chat, or you can type in bit.ly/degenerate roundtable, or you can go to t.me/DRT join now. Any of those options work. They all did not work earlier because of some magical internet fairy problem, but it's back up and running. We did a test earlier while we were streaming, and we're going to be replacing the QR code anyway on next stream, so it'll be a good one. So that's what's going on with Degen Roundtable. As far as things going on with me, like I said earlier, I'm going to be hosting the show on Wednesday with Cryptographics, and then I'm also going to be hosting the book club on Friday. So it's going to be a good one. Yes, thank you, Moonpilled Rational Optics, by the way, because he's the one who suggested this book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. For the folks at home who have not read this book, it's quite good. It's very good. This book was sat on for about 80 years in manuscript form, and they didn't publish it until 2014, even though Napoleon Hill wrote it back in 1938. So he elected not to publish this book through the course of his entire life, and then when he passed away, it went on to his wife, who also elected not to publish it, and then it went on to a friend of the family who also elected not to publish it. And then it finally went to the Hill Foundation, the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and they were like, "This stuff's too good. We got to give it out to the world." And so it's a fucking fantastic book, and I understand why Napoleon Hill didn't publish it during his lifetime. Back in the day, your community was all that you had, and so if you published a book that kind of critiqued the way that the world works and critiqued the way that people use the devil and use emotional influence and lack of discipline in order to get people to do things, particularly bad things, and you kind of just highlight the way that basically everybody does this, then pretty much everybody considers you to be persona non grata. And the debanking back in the day was much more serious because they did not have cryptocurrency. They didn't have anything like the amount of sovereignty we have today. So Napoleon elected not to publish this book, but it's super good. I highly recommend you guys read it. I look very much forward to when we cover it next week. So that's what's going on with me. As for my socials, you can find all of my socials linked at will.pls.fyi. So if you guys want to go stalk me on Instagram, if you want to go stalk me on Facebook or over on Twitter, you can find all of my stuff over there at this, basically my Pulse domain link tree. So that's where everything is at. And that's my publicly doxed wallet.
Will,
what you
real
got?
Quick, did you get the joke in Fox Mulder's comment?
Oh, Jesus.
Very good. Very good.
He says Napoleon is a great author. He'll die on that hill.
Very good.
Get it? Napoleon Hill.
I get it.
Boo.
That's you know
The
what,
name of the
Fox?
author.
You took the energy to write that out. So thank you, sir, for thank you for your contribution, punny though it may be. So that's freaking great. And Mr. Cotton Trust, there are no cabal secrets here, but it is still a great show. Thank you for joining us, and thanks to all of you guys. Really, thank you for those of you guys that are watching us live, or those of you that are catching us on the replay. We appreciate every single fucking one of you. Before we go, I got one request, and that's that you guys that you like that smash button, and that's it. And it's time for us to go ahead and end the show. So I want to thank you all for spending your valuable time with us here on the Degen Roundtable. As Agent J often says, but he can't right now because he got rugged, we know that time is your most valuable asset, and we appreciate you spending that valuable time here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Will Stevenson, but more importantly, you have been watching the Degen Roundtable. Mrs. Producer, go ahead and get that trigger finger ready, because it's time to remind all the folks at home to remember to Degen responsibly.